this. Yep. What the fuck? Oh, I think we're back actually. Right. There we
Yeah?
go. Yeah. I think we started with me saying, "Oh yeah, what the fuck?" Anyway.
Well, 'cause the audio hold on a second, let me wait for the 'cause we're on delay.
Yeah.
Nope, there we go, we're good. Okay, yep, that's it.
All right, we're good.
We made it, now I have to mute the playback so that I don't hear our conversation, but, like, 7 seconds late.
We did it.
Um, yeah, so,
So yeah, new poll
as
just
I
dropped.
said yeah, it's I really hate when Saint A's is just like, "Yeah, we know you guys are going live tonight, so we're gonna drop these poll results 1 hour before you guys go live while you're, like, cooking dinner, so you don't have time to prepare. So now we're gonna have to do a cold react to all that and, probably subvert content that we were very, very, deliberately, like, excited to fucking talk about."
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Thanks, Saint A's. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Good stuff. But yeah. So you want to get into some of our title stuff here? Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Right. So crowds protest over reports of ICE activity in Keene. This is follow up from last week when ICE agents were spotted out in Keene along with apparently the police chief of Troy. So
Every weekend, the Keene Rally Coalition organizes a peaceful protest. This weekend, it has extra weight.
We're really just here to walk in and engage with a group and understand the anger and what's going on.
In a statement Tuesday, Keene's mayor confirmed reports of ICE agents in the area. The Cheshire County Sheriff said the same. Saturday,
I feel like genetically it affects me. I feel the sadness and the horror of it to my soul.
protesters say it proves their message needs to continue.
It's the only way I think that we're going to help to convince the people who are our friends and neighbors is by showing up and letting them know that what we stand for.
A small number of people made claims of disruptive protests earlier in the week.
Most ICE agents, when you talk to them, why do they wear masks? Because they're getting doxxed. Their families are getting doxxed. They're being threatened. They're getting death threats.
Both sides agree on the importance of speaking up.
I know some of these people here, they have every constitutionally protected right to be out here exercising their right to protest.
This community, it's our home, but these people are our family.
Now, we asked the Department of Homeland Security about these reports. They sent us a statement back this morning. It says in part, quote, ICE Boston routinely conducts operations across New England, which includes the state of New Hampshire. For operational security purposes, ICE does not disclose information pertaining to current or ongoing operations, including law enforcement plans, tactics, or strategies.
yep.
Man, it's kinda hard to, like it's kinda hard to react to content like that. I call it content, it's hard to react to news like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in a lot of ways, this is like that story is nothing, right? Like, okay, we have a bunch of protesters that don't like ICE being here, and we have ICE saying, "Yeah, like, we conduct a whole bunch of shit, and for OPSEC reasons, we're not gonna tell you what it is." And it's like, okay, well, then what, like, what are we talking about here? Like, this isn't like I I in other news, water is wet, the sky is blue, and grass is green. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
know. Where's the hard-hitting journalism? Where's the, like, any kind of actual investigation into what's happening right now? There's no effort on the part of WMUR or any of these other outlets to try and, like, dig in. All they're gonna do is tell you, like, "Oh, yeah, ICE went to Keene," and like, maybe tell us more about where the actual townspeople are at. They, like, would tell us not just the protesters that showed up to the event. Talk about I mean, I know they have other articles where they cover, and
Yeah.
video pieces where they cover the town meetings and stuff like that, but that to me is just like, I guess it's like, "Here's what's happening in your community, and, we're not gonna say anything about it at all, and you probably already know
Yeah.
what's going on, but please give us more money." Like,
I
fuck,
mean,
man.
I think I guess I would say it's better than nothing for them to, like, highlight like, that for this community, like, yes, it is a
Yes.
problem. You know what I mean?
Yes, no, you're absolutely right, and I mean, like, that is sort of like the counterpoint. I guess maybe the cynic in me is starting to get a little irritated with the way that WMUR is operating,
Yeah,
as if I
that,
wasn't
like,
already irritated enough,
the
but
guise of, like, neutrality when, like, a lot of the times it is kinda leaning in one way.
yeah, and I mean, like, and I say this, no disrespect to the protesters that show up, right? But I feel like when I watch this stuff, they'll, like, find the most Woodstock maxed boomers to interview, and it's
Yeah,
like, like, the the older population that goes out and does the Saturday protests across the state where, like, they'll find, like, the biggest intersection in their town, and they'll go and they'll do it, right? It's like, that's such a small sliver of the people that are, like, deeply upset and frustrated about this.
yeah,
All the people you're not talking to are the people that are like, I don't want to have my face scanned
yeah,
by an ICE officer and then get put into a database." You know what I mean? Like, and that comes down to a certain amount of, like, technological literacy, I wanna say, where it's like for millennials like us or Gen Z or whatever, certain portions of Gen X, they're like, we're all like, "Yeah, no, tech is scary." And there's, like, you don't go do these things if you don't have, some sort of, like, baggy balaclava or something like that, something that makes it difficult for your face to be scanned. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, that sort of, like, repetitive, um, protesting that happens, like, I mean, here in my town, it's like ever since BLM, and I'm not saying this to shit on anybody, but, like, ever since BLM, like clockwork, every single Saturday, there is, like, a whole troop of boomers that go out and they hold up signs that say, like, "integrity," or you know what I mean? Like, stuff
yeah,
like that. It's like, okay, I I respect that that is, like, you're coming from a post MLK era. You know what I mean? Like, this is very much so, like, a huge portion of what you're invested in. This is what you care about. This is the way that you know how to do your activism. And I it just it doesn't necessarily land in the same way for people that grew up with the internet, who grew up with like, who got hit with cell phones when they were like, touch screen cell phones. Sorry, I'm, like, babbling over here.
yeah, no, I
Uh,
get you.
but, smartphones, it doesn't hit the same for us because we know how much we're being spied on. You know what I
Right,
mean? We're very conscious of the degree to which we live in this hyper surveillance state. So doing things like going out and going to a protest for a lot of people that are actually aware of what the current dynamic is, it's it's a lot sketchier, and you know that you're being recorded. You know what I mean? And that's the type of shit that puts gets you put on lists. And, I don't know, I think the older population of boomers that engage in that type of activism are just maybe a little less sensitive to it. Maybe they're a little bit more insulated. I mean, again, most of those folks that are out there doing that probably have a certain amount of, uh, individualized economic stability. Most of them are white. Like, they're not exactly in a whole lot of jeopardy. and I say all this from a state that has, like, far less flock cameras than, say, the greater metropolitan area of Boston or downtown Providence, Rhode Island, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fucking like, surveillance going on over in those places, so, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading an article about Rhode Island, and I think I saw a post by like the Rhode Island police or something saying like this is actually not true that these the automated whatever the hell the acronym is, the license plate readers, they're like these don't you know scan whatever you think it does. It only like it the only thing it does is take pictures of the license plate and that's it. I'm like that's fucking literally not true though. It's crazy like the blatant lies that a lot of these places are willing to put out.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, so what do we got with this one? ICE pitches legal insurance to help shield local officers who make immigration arrests.
Yeah. So that should, that should
Ah.
boost everyone's confidence that they're doing the right thing, right? Is wanting to have insurance like against, yeah.
As of 2 o'clock this afternoon, all ICE enforcement officers in Maine now have body-worn cameras. This is according to Senator Susan Collins. The senator says the officers have also been trained on
Okay,
how
is
to
this
use
unrelated?
them. The
I mean, I guess it is related, but not quite the headline.
cameras are 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Collins says she spoke with the agency last month and was told the cameras would be out by the end of August.
And but this also brings up the problem we were just saying is that they want those. Those are no longer like a thing that you can be like, oh well, they're on camera, so they're not going to want to do something crazy, right? Like it's actually the opposite at this point. They do want the cameras.
I mean, look, I'm all for ICE agents wearing body cameras if those cameras cannot be turned off at any single time, and that if those recordings go directly into a publicly available database. But again, like, th this is all nonsense. None of this is gonna stop anything, none of this is gonna help anything. The only thing that stops this, the only thing that helps is to completely abolish ICE as an entire institution, just delete it from the face of the country, and, while we're at it, repeal the Patriot Act and go back to a pre-Patriot Act form of, border patrol, customs, and immigration naturalization services. That's the way you do this. That is the only way that you do this. There is not another way that you do this. Not in the current climate. Like, what I'm offering right there is like, that's such a fucking insanely progressive and left-wing thing to say in the United States of America at this particular time. Like, honestly, we're starting to get to this point where I'm, like, wondering to myself if we're gonna end up needing some sort of interstate, passport, basically. Like, I'm genuinely wondering if we're gonna hit a point where it's it's like the
Yeah.
union of the states becomes a lot more akin to trying to go between, say, the UK um and the greater Europe. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm concerned with right
Right,
now.
because
Um,
people are already being
because
tracked across state lines for things that they're doing in other states that aren't crimes there, but they are in the state that they
right.
come from. So, like, how the hell do you
Yeah,
charge
like
something like that? Like,
yeah, and I mean, like, dude, God forbid you wanna go fucking pick up a bag from a dispensary in Boston or, like, just over the border in Massachusetts. Like, you get clipped by a flock camera, good luck, buddy. You do that on a regular iteration, they're gonna crack on you. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we're not even talking about that article yet, so I can
yeah.
revisit this conversation later.
But, yeah, just wanted to, include some more context as well. Those electric shock gloves have already been in use by, police departments in Bellevue, Omaha, as
Jesus.
well as being, given to school resource officers as well.
Yeah, see, that ain't it, dude. That's like you're using it in schools? I'm sorry, schools. We're using these on children.
Yeah, and the way that they frame it is that it's a non-escalation tactic, which is not what I don't think that's what that is at all. That is or
What does
like
that mean? What do they mean by non-escalation tactic? Hold on a minute. That's not that is unhinged.
where the hell? All right, yeah, I'll just read this here. The electric shock gloves making headlines after Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced it was planning to outfit its agents with technology have already been used in Nebraska for years. Last May, the Omaha Police Department submitted a request to the Omaha City Council to buy 40 pairs of gloves under for a little under 66,000. The gloves were intended to be used by school resource officers, quote, as another use of force option with the goal of de escalating and preventing use of force situations, according to the document submitted to the city council. Like that sentence in and of itself just like fucking reverses, does it not? Like it cancel like what is so it's a use of force option to prevent a use of force situation. Like how does that line up?
I okay. So it, this is like the good guy with a gun argument kind of stuff right here. It's it's like, "Oh, yeah, well, you don't have to worry about, everybody shooting each other if you have one guy that's good that shoots everybody first, so nobody can shoot anybody else." Like, well, did you just de-escalate the situation? Did you prevent the situation from escalating any further by just murdering everybody that was there? Is that how that works? Like,
Yeah.
I don't and then it's like, okay, it de-escalates the situation in the short term. I like, let's assume their premise, right? We assume we be charitable to these fucking shitheads. Um, it de-escalates the one aggressor that you have directly in front of you, but what's to say that the act of using that tool doesn't escalate others around the person using the tool, using the gloves, to then attack that officer? Well, if you've got 4 people jumping the officer and you've got 2 hands on the officer with the gloves, because you just shocked somebody, did you really just de-escalate the situation? Furthermore, let's say that this everything pans out, you scare the shit out of the people that are around this person. What are they gonna do? They're gonna pull out their phones, they're gonna record it, they're gonna put it on social media, everybody's gonna see it, and then you have a different kind of escalation.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, what, like, why? What's the point? Then everybody's talking about how there's these terrible school resource officers shocking the fuck out of children and they, like, in between class because they, like, got a little too rowdy in the hallway. Like, I don't really understand the argument. I don't know. I I just don't believe that creating more technologically advanced tools of violence is the best way to remove violence as an equation, right? If you
Yeah,
talk
well, see,
to,
this is the quote from the use of force trainer at Omaha, police department here. The quote is, "It's all about reducing risk, reducing injury, and gaining compliance in the shortest time possible." So that's what that's all about, apparently.
yeah, but, like, repercussions of the actions be damned? Like, you don't care, you're like, "Oh,
Like,
all that
yeah,
media blowback is whatever, like, we just sit here and shut up and just nod and let the commissioner do all the talking for us," or something like that. Is that the argument? Or that would that ostensibly be the follow-up to that?
yeah, that's fucked.
I just don't, this is insane, right? Like, um because this goes this it the way I see it, a lot of this kinda gets back to the whole, like, argument of community policing, right? Like, the whole idea, this is I once again, I hate slogans, you know? because defund the police, and now you got people like AOC being like, "Yeah, woke one was crazy."
Yeah.
Or I've got this counselor that I talk to, and he always says that woke one is crazy. I don't wanna misattribute that quote because AOC didn't say that. Somebody else said that to AOC, and AOC repeated it. Um, the point is not that woke one was wrong. The point was that the messaging behind woke one was not like betrayed the ultimate goals and maybe led people to believe that what was happening was something other than what was happening, right? When you say
Yeah.
defund the police, the whole point is that you're trying to like undermine a system of justice that is oppressive and to find a way to make the application of justice less oppressive. That's the whole purpose. That's done through community policing and support networks. Like if you let's say you actually want to genuinely um you actually want to do something about gun control in this country, right? You want to reduce the number of firearms that everybody's got, right? You don't ratchet up the amount of violence. You don't like that's not the way that you do that. You're not like, "Oh, like let's pour more guns in." The way to control guns is just make sure everybody's got one. If you just make sure everybody's strapped, um, on my Gil Scott Heron shit, everybody's got a pistol, everybody's got a 45. Um, it's not that that doesn't fix anything, right? That just means we're all like operating at this higher level of anxiety because everybody's just constantly got it in their heads like, "Geez, what if what if some asshole shoots and then I gotta shoot?" And then we're all in a gunfight and everything is just
Yeah.
every moment of your life is lived on the edge. Um, no, I'm not making this argument right now to say, "Oh, we should get rid of guns," because I don't think that's possible right now. I just don't think that's a reality. In fact, I do
Yeah.
actually,
No.
you know, given the current situation, I would say, no, it's probably smarter to go get a gun actually.
Yeah.
Given the way things are
Honestly.
going, um, but the point the point overall though, is that you have to change the culture to a point where people don't feel like they need guns at all, right? Like,
Right.
that has to be done voluntarily. Like, you have to decide actively. You're like, "I don't fucking need this thing in my house, on my body, all the time anymore." Like, it's because it's not doing anything. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I could find a use for my impact driver, like, so many places and times or whatever, but I don't walk around with my impact driver strapped to my belt
Yeah.
because that would be ridiculous. It's not light. It's like it's gonna yank on my pants all day. Like, there's no point in doing that. Like, sure, there are a lot of screws that I could run into that might need tightening.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna run around with this impact driver on me all day. You know what I mean? Like, if it I will keep it in my tool bags when I'm doing a lot of screwing, when I'm doing a lot like, when I'm running around doing a lot of stuff that requires me to drive screws. Because that's the point of it. Like, that's the time that you use it. You keep it in your kit when you need it, and when you don't need it anymore, you don't use it that often. I don't run around with my jigsaw strapped to me anywhere near as frequently as I run around with my impact driver because I use the jigsaw way less. 9 times out of 10, that jigsaw stays in. I should say it's a saber saw. I get it. There's a lot of like, holy shit, that you need to get woke carpenter on me. Um, the like, most of those things just stay in the kit all the time, right? And I know that I'm using an analogy that's, like, incredibly relevant to me, and there's probably a lot of people that are like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't understand. I'm not a carpenter. I don't build shit." So this is for all you hobby horse dudes out there in the chat and on the playback. But seriously, it doesn't you have to be at a point where you just don't need that thing anymore. Like, you have to realize that it's not providing you any utility to take the extra time the beginning of your day before you go out to buy groceries to get all strapped up with your fucking concealed carry on your on your hip, and then you got one on your down on your pant leg, and, like, like, you just, like, you run around with guns all over you, right? The whole point is that, like, you just feel safe enough in your community that you don't need it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody is just like, "Yeah, we're gonna leave the guns at home." And then you go years and years and years, and you don't use the guns, and you realize that, like, "Oh, geez, I'm not like a firearms autist." You know? Like, I just picked these up because I was fucking freaked out, and since I'm not freaked out anymore and I don't need them, I can get rid of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's no reason for me to be concerned about it because my community has invested to a point where, like, there's mental health services, we have, um, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
That needs to
injection
be like a
centers, if people
nationwide
are
thing as
addicted to
well.
things, and we treat it like it's a health problem, you know what I mean? Like, all this stuff. We do have police officers, but they live in the community. They literally live here. They have to shop at the same stores that we do. They have to, like,
Yeah, that
all that
should
stuff
honestly
is
be a fucking law that police need to live in the same district that they are working in.
right, they need to live in the jurisdiction that they patrol. I want that's like I'm a huge proponent of that, right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, like,
Yeah, cops
if you
going into the big
go
city
out
from
and
the
fuck
suburbs to
around.
go and fight crime, is gonna be
Yeah,
like Billy
exactly.
Badass, and they go where the crime is.
Right, right, exactly. So that I'm just, like, all this to say that, I mean, we kinda got away from the original thing, and I don't even necessarily know what I'm saying anymore, but I really just I do think that this is the actual way that you approach it logically. You know what I mean? If you're genuinely if you want to reduce the incidences of violence, right? If you wanna just lower the temperature on all that, if you're worried about conflicts occurring on school grounds, you know what you do? You fucking fully fund public education, jackasses. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you make sure the school has enough goddamn resources to a point where you're not like, "Oh, man, our school is underfunded, and now we don't have enough staff to make sure that the students' needs are being met, so they're not just sitting around getting more and more irritated, which is gonna probably lead to them fighting more." So, the solution is not to make sure that we have enough resources to attend to the needs of all the students. The solution that we need is to strap the school resource officer with shot gloves.
Right.
What?
Makes total sense.
Sure. Anyways, let's
Yep.
go with this.
Yep. So, I don't know how much of this we're gonna get through. We can just have it play a little bit
We'll do what we
faster
can.
speed. We got the meeting from Keene here. First few minutes is just the town manager, I believe, explaining the situation like out as like they see it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. My name is Amanda Palmera. I'm the city attorney. As city attorney, my role is to advise the city council and the city staff as an objective advisor about the laws that relate to their work. As such, I wanted to give a quick general overview of some of the laws and legal structures that are relevant to the conversations we may have tonight. First, the relationship between local municipal law enforcement and federal law enforcement. I understand our focal point tonight may be Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, which is a part of the Federal Department of Homeland Security. What I'm about to say could also be true of other federal enforcement agencies such as the IRS, the FBI, Post Office. Federal government structures are a product of the federal United States Constitution. Federal agencies act as the enforcement arms of the federal executive branch, authorized by Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution contains what's called the Supremacy Clause, which states that the United States Constitution and federal statutes and laws shall be the supreme law of the land. That means that the federal law applies throughout the country and cannot be undermined or ignored by the governments within the country.
I just wanted to pause. Excuse me. Just wanted to pause there real quick and say this is also for more added context. Like there are states in which marijuana is legalized, even though it's illegal federally. So that doesn't always apply. It's kind of like a very weird pick and choosy type situation when it comes to state versus federal authority.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely situations where state laws will be in contradiction of federal laws. Um, and a lot of the time, like in the specific instance of marijuana, a lot of the time, what the Fed decides is they're essentially taking the position that it's not worth it for us to expend resources going after this federalized crime in a state where it's legal. Like, it's not that they can't by any means, it's just that it doesn't monetarily make sense for them to expend resources pursuing that in a place where it's so generalized anyways.
Yeah.
It would be taking away from resources that could be going towards, like, breaking up trafficking rings, like human trafficking rings and stuff like that,
Yeah,
so in a lot of ways for them, they're like, "Alright, like, you guys wanna deal with whatever crime associates itself with that level of legalization in your state, be our guest." Um, Sounds like it's your problem now.
yeah.
An application, the Supremacy Clause prohibits states and local governments from interfering with or controlling the operations of the federal government. That also means that ICE and other federal law enforcement agencies have jurisdiction and authority to act and enforce federal laws anywhere within the United States of America. It means that state, county, or municipal governments cannot interfere with those operations without risk of violating the Supremacy Clause. There are also some other federal statutes that have specific ways that law enforcement agencies on the local level must comply with federal law enforcement agencies. For example, the United States Code Title VIII prohibits local law enforcement agencies from refusing to share information about someone's immigration status if they have it with federal immigration authorities. There also have been laws created that directly prohibit local governments from adopting policies or taking actions that would interfere with federal immigration authorities. For example, in May of 2025, the president issued an executive order number 14287 that ordered the Secretary of Homeland Security to identify communities with policies that are aimed to obstruct federal immigration law enforcement as sanctuary jurisdictions, and the secretary was ordered to suspend or terminate federal grants and contracts with those communities as appropriate. More locally, in New Hampshire, the New Hampshire legislature passed 2 bills last year that created several state statutes referred to in New Hampshire as the anti-sanctuary city laws. Those statutes prohibit local law enforcement agencies from refusing to comply with federal enforcement agencies that are enforcing immigration law. And they prohibit local municipal governments from adopting policies that could prevent local law enforcement agencies from complying with the federal laws, the laws that require them to cooperate or communicate with federal immigration agencies. Those statutes are in RSAs.
Hmm.
Okay. I want everybody to be 100% fucking crystal clear-eyed when you think about this for a second. Totally fine. Totally fine for the state government to say, "No, you do not," as a municipality, you as a locality, you have absolutely no right to make any decision about the way that you will be policed. You have no choice about that whatsoever. Um, we as the state are going to tell you exactly how you need to enact this this type of society. But
Yeah.
when it comes to excuse me, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to paying for your public schools, they're like, "No, no, that's 100% on you." That
Yeah.
that is entirely your problem. So when the conservative majority in the state house says that they're against big government or whatever, not when it comes to this kind of stuff. Not even a little bit. Not even in the slightest. When it comes to oppressing you and making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel surveilled, making you feel like the feds are up your fucking ass all the goddamn time, and that your local police force are also, in fact, the fucking feds, totally fine with that kind of authoritarianism. Totally fine with that kind of saying "fuck you" to the local control. That's all well and good, but when it comes to, leaving you to drown at the bottom of the fucking swimming pool, I'm thinking of that meme, the kid
Yeah.
who's, like, getting a lot of attention from their parent, and then the other kid who's, like, struggling,
Yeah.
and then there's the skeleton at the bottom of the pool. That's what I'm thinking about. But, yeah, seriously, this double standard shit should not be acceptable. There's no ideological consistency here whatsoever. So all the little don't step on snack people, you can maybe take note of the fact that you love getting stepped on. You
Yeah.
love it. You get off on it. In fact, you want that little gag ball in there too. You wanna choke on it. Have fun.
So is the people screaming about freedom that are, want the authoritarian policies because they don't think it's going to affect them. But they're like, no, no, that's just going to go after them, my enemies and such. It's like, no, dude, that's not how, it's not how authoritarianism works.
Yeah, but watch when Democrats get control again, all of a sudden it's gonna be like, "Wait, no, you can't do this. You're just infringing on my rights."
Yeah.
No, you just you shut up, man.
Yeah.
Quit being
Like,
a little baby.
ridiculous.
Anyways, you can continue. Sorry, I just wanted
Chapter
to, like, really drive that home.
Yeah.
106P, 106Q, and 106R. Quickly, too, related to the authority of local governments, I want to mention the statutory role of our city council and our city staff. By state statute and as per our city charter, we have what's called a councilor manager form of government, meaning that the city council is responsible for the fiscal, prudential, and municipal affairs of the city, while our city manager is the head of the administrative branch of our city government, supervising the administrative affairs of the city and carrying out the policies enacted by the elected body. That means that the city manager is responsible for overseeing the city staff and operations. To some degree, this may limit what the city council has the authority and jurisdiction to do at times. Going back to the federal level real quick, separate from the federal statutes and the Supremacy Clause, I also wanted to mention what's called the 287G agreements. 287G refers to a specific section of the United States Immigration and Nationality Act, and that provision authorizes Department of Homeland Security to deputize state and local law enforcement officers to enforce federal immigration law. You may have heard that the New Hampshire State Police and several other New Hampshire governments, municipalities have signed these agreements with DHS. Keene has not signed one of these agreements. A local law enforcement agency that signs a 287G agreement can be directed by ICE to perform ICE's functions and enforce immigration law anywhere that ICE has jurisdiction, which again is anywhere in the United States, not just within that municipal law enforcement's jurisdiction. I last wanted to address the memorandum of understanding that the Keene Police Department has with other municipalities in Cheshire County. You may recall we discussed this MOU in the FOP committee back in February. There, we discussed that this MOU is a mutual aid agreement between the municipal police departments in Cheshire County, intending to allow them to call upon each other for backup and assistance, just like other mutual aid agreements and how they function. The MOU is only among the municipalities in Cheshire County. It does not have any part with federal agencies. However, as discussed, a federal agency would not need to be requested to come to a municipality because their jurisdiction is federal.
Steve Stewart.
So that just sounded like a real long way to say there's nothing you can do about any of this.
Yeah, more or less.
No, yeah, just hold on. Let me go back real quick. And so she was saying that since they have a memorandum of understanding that police from different towns can call each other for backup, does that mean that ICE can direct the police from one town to then call for backup from another town and have them effectively be all together working as ICE agents, even though they are not in a contract? Is that like a possibility I'm reading in between the lines here of?
It's not spelled out explicitly, but I would imagine that if something like that were to happen, right? Um, there would be enough murkiness, right? That like that's it would it would kind of fall under the uh don't ask for forgiveness or don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Um blah 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 wet blanket blah blah. Yeah. I mean, no, it's um it is entirely possible that if you depends on what officer you're talking to, honestly. Like, at that point, it really comes down to, like, the subjective departments and, like, the police chiefs and whatever, right? And
Yeah.
whoever's running dispatch and all that, because I could easily see, an officer, you know, breaking from the pack, as it were, and being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go help them." You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
Maybe it's that's I feel I mean, I'm wary of speculating on that because we don't necessarily have any visibility on how strict those particular, like, police departments follow those guidelines, and I would imagine that their adherence varies from township to township and how much blowback that particular police department would be under if their locality found out that they had sent officers to aid officers that were working as like in their capacity as um ICE agents. So it's it's a little tricky. I would imagine that there's absolutely a possibility of it happening because the wheels of justice that would deliver punishment for that action turn slowly, and then like, honestly, worst case scenario, what happens? Like, oh, you get put on, like, a suspension
Yeah.
with while still
An
getting
internal
paid. We're
investigation
gonna we're gonna
and, yeah.
we're gonna send that cop that broke those rules um, on a nice little paid vacation
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
punishment.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
horrible. I'm sure they hate it.
right.
Like, now you take a couple of weeks off and think about what you've done. Go to the corner, I guess. Should be effective. We'll see.
The MOU is only among the municipal.
I was asked to give a little bit of background in terms of the events of not this past weekend, but the weekend before. My knowledge, my firsthand knowledge is pretty limited. I'm aware that officers from ICE came to the police station, checked in with our dispatcher to let them know that they were going to be in the city conducting some investigations, and that they spent some amount of time in our parking lot waiting for each other as a staging area before they went somewhere else. That's pretty much the gist of what I know regarding that. Sort of in terms of going forward, what you could expect or should expect from this police department, that is that every person that we deal with, regardless of their immigration status or any other factor in their life, is going to be treated fairly and with respect and with as much dignity as each situation will allow. You should expect that we will comply with the New Hampshire Attorney General's office guidance regarding fair and impartial policing, meaning we will never ask a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime about their immigration status. So those are things that are important to know. In terms of future operations,
Can they really guarantee that though? If like the situation before, what like we've been talking about, like kind of apply to that? Like,
I
is that,
mean, no, they
you don't
can't
think?
guarantee that, because you can't, like
Like, you're not there with all the
you
specific
can't.
officers around, yeah.
Right, I mean, like, because you can't control, an officer that's gonna, like you know, play a little, color outside the lines a little bit,
Yeah.
be a bit of an outlaw, about it.
Right.
Yeah, there's no way to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, look, like you got fucking police officers that are using the flock system to stalk significant others. Like cops break the law all the fucking time. You got domestic abusers that operate as police officers. This is just normal. Um, and so in the bureaucratic sense, legally, he can say, yes, we can guarantee this. But in the material real world moment with human beings that have reactions and emotions and complex feelings, all that, no, you can't guarantee that for shit. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, I don't you have to you have to give me something more like like word more coherent than trust me, bro. That's a trust me, bro argument.
Yeah.
Um, and it leans entirely on the authority of the AG's office to make it, which like again is kind of sus,
Mm.
especially with this governor.
Yeah. As well as the fact that she is, saying like, yeah, come on in, election, what the monitors. Like you are totally welcome in my state. Come on in. Good stuff.
In the city with ICE, what you should expect is that if they ask for information about a person or a place, we will give them the information that we have. You should expect that if they are involved in an emergency situation and require assistance, we will respond to assist them. You should expect that I will not be issuing any sweeping condemnation of any federal law enforcement agency, and I won't be banning them from our parking lots or property. So again, what I really want to leave you with is that our intention, our goal, our mission is to treat every person we deal with respect and dignity and fairness.
I love living here. I've lived here for a while.
Well, we
It
got an
is a
ad.
wonderful
Look out.
community, and I would hope that we could come
Yeah. All right. A couple more things here.
together and support our immigrants. So I have like a question about if the police were not working with, directly with ICE, why were police vehicles following the ICE vehicle? And also I saw an increase in police activity on my street. There was a sense of like, fear that was instilled in all of us. I am glad that I was able to come and help our immigrant friends and the people in my neighborhood. And I felt okay. But even somebody who's been here for a long, long time, who has a family and a son and a husband, she came home, and I won't say her name, but she lives near me, and she was scared. She had some people come follow her home from her job here in Keene so that she could get safely to her residence. So that's what I want to say. I just think we really maybe aren't being given all the complete information. So thank you.
Thank you. And I want to recognize the city manager, just to fact check.
I just want to clarify, the black vehicle with the red light is the fire department. That is a command vehicle, and the fire department and the police department and the fire department go together, not an ICE vehicle.
Although you can definitely see why somebody would think that it was just like an all black, suburban type vehicle.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Quigley?
It's a black SUV.
Yeah, I mean.
On Sunday, August 9th, I learned that the wife of a community member who had been abducted by ICE the day before was contacted and told to come pick up his keys at the Keene Police Department. Before she went, out of concern for her safety, I went to the Keene Police Department parking lot to check for ICE's presence in the area. While there, I went in and asked, hypothetically, how a situation like this would be handled. What I learned shocked me. I was told the keys have been returned to ICE. Instead of returning a family's property to the family, our police department handed those keys back to ICE. A decision that meant ICE would be the one to track her down. That put her in the position of being sought out and approached by ICE directly, with all the fear and risk that carries. Instead of simply being asked to walk into her own apartment and retrieve her husband's keys. It is my understanding that Keene police are obligated to assist ICE when presented with a judicial warrant. That is the law, and I'm not asking anyone to break it. But choosing to hand over a resident's personal property to a federal agency seems beyond what the law requires. That was a choice that made a grieving, frightened woman more vulnerable, not less. So tonight I'm asking this council for 3 things, and the police department.
Yeah, I feel like they just that's messed up, man. Just I don't think they were thinking about it at all. They're just like, "Nah, you deal with this." Or I don't know, that's pretty
Right.
like
Well,
ICE
and
had
that's the
handed
thing.
the police the keys so that they could, return it to the family members, but, they're just like, "Nah, you take it." Like, "What, dude?"
Yeah, that's how it works though. When you are you got a cop talking to an ICE agent, there's a certain amount of yeah, we're sort of in adjacent fields, we're all part of the greater entity that is law enforcement in the United States. And so there's a certain amount of like mutual trust that's applied to the scenario. It's like, yeah, you're probably not a bad guy, right? Like we all do the same job. I don't think I'm a bad guy, so you're probably not a bad guy. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, for them it's like they don't skip a beat. They don't think about it like at all. Like there's no consideration in any way, shape, or form that something bad might fucking happen because of that. Uh,
Right.
and at the end of the day, it's like you're ICE, not so much. The local cops, you are fucking servants of the people the same way an elected official is a servant of the public. Like you don't like you need to be like an appropriate arbiter of that. There's
Right, you need public trust in order to do your job, like, in the
right.
community, dude.
There's there's a reason um that um in the Republic there is a reason that Socrates, Glaucon, and Adamantius spend so much time talking about what the arbiters of justice need to what the specific standard that they're held to. They don't spend anywhere near as much time talking about the the rights and responsibilities and well, I mean, they do talk about rights a bit, but the responsibilities and duties of like the workers. You know what I mean? Like they don't go into anywhere near as much like rigorous depth over what the standards for those people need to be. There's a reason they spend so much time talking about the people that need to protect the democracy. Um, and it's because of situations exactly like this, because of how easily corrupted, how easily, um, yeah, those people can be pushed in the wrong direction because they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And how much damage that shit can cause to the society, the ideal society that they're discussing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Fuck. Do we wanna, watch a little more of this, or you think we should move on here? Hmm.
If you think there's any, like, kernels of value in it, I mean, I think
For sure, here, let
it's
me
it's
move a little
tricky
bit.
because, like, I think the real thing that we have to
Hey,
confront
back a little
ourselves
bit.
with is that, um we can talk about this until we're blue in the face, but what we're experiencing right now, right here, is the extent to which the federal government can just kind of do whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah.
And the gap between the actions of agents and the legal repercussions that control or restrain those actions are on two very, very different time scales. The oppression happens instantaneously, and it can and it cannot be in breach of permission structures, right? The amount of time it takes to litigate that and apply appropriate punishments, especially when the system itself currently does not allow for any punishment to be doled out. We literally need to wait until the administration is completely different, and I mean at the executive level, and probably the legislative level itself as well, and honestly, probably the judicial level. Um, yeah, you're not gonna get any actual, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Punishments. You're not gonna get any accountability for the actions of those agents. This is why everybody says, like, "Oh, yeah, geez, I can't wait," the libs will be like, "Oh, I can't wait until we're out of this, and then we can put, um, Stephen Miller on trial or whatever," and it's like,
Like, yeah,
good
I
luck
don't
with that.
right.
You I don't think you have any comprehension of the how far left wing your government needs to be in order for that to occur. Because
Yeah, no, the second
I
Biden was
assure you,
office,
I
he's
can
like, "Yeah, we're moving forward, doing whatever. Let's keep it moving, Jack,"
right,
you know?
right, right. I can 100% assure you that,
Same thing with Obama and Bush.
yeah, the whatever the liberal governments like, whatever liberal majority would do once the table turns, um, it's not gonna crack down anywhere as near as hard. If you really want that, you need to have DSA endorsed candidates, you need to have genuine progressives that will run on a sort of like DSA adjacent style platform or something maybe even more progressive than that, progressive, even more left wing. People that are genuinely like, "No, we're going to take the time to completely toss these fucking jackasses in prison."
Yeah.
That's a priority. Um, is genuinely holding the standard there, not like, it's in the past, bygones be bygones, it's fine, whatever, like, no, these people
Like,
shouldn't be in
yeah,
prison.
like, it's insane. The whole thing where, the presidential immunity, if he's doing something, acting as president, then whatever he did is not illegal. Like, that's
Right.
like, what? Does his entire
Yeah.
cabinet have that as well? Like, everyone, all the officials under him that are, doing this insane shit right now?
Like I said, it's one of those things, like, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Go ahead and do the thing and then be like, "Sorry, can you guys retcon the law a little bit so that this is okay for us, please?"
Yeah,
And,
I mean, with all the fucking rapists in, in the Trump administration, it kinda makes sense that,
yeah,
all this
yeah,
fucking strategy of just, like, do whatever the fuck you want, doesn't matter, like, who you hurt and, like, whether the population is willing or not, you know? That's just how they roll, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, it's really frustrating because I do genuinely believe that probably at least half the population of the United States would love to see genuine legal ramifications for this activity, this behavior, and I don't think we're gonna get that. If you fucking think for a half a second that Chris Pappas or Maggie Goodlander
Yeah.
or Stephanie Shaheen or Maura Sullivan, whichever one of them is gonna win that primary because, it's gonna be one of them at this point, it's not gonna it's not gonna work. Like, they're not gonna do it. Um, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
I
to
don't see
rely
that.
on the Daria Liza Villa Chevaliers or the Claire Valdezes or the Mela Kiroses. Those are the people. The Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar. Those are the people that are gonna actually fucking give you the results that you want. Uh,
Indeed.
Jamal Bowman. You're not gonna get it from fucking liberals. That's not gonna happen. This system
Yeah.
works. They're fine with this.
Yep. So I don't know if you've heard about this yet. Let's see. Peterborough's AI cameras aren't used for law enforcement, police say.
Fuck's sake.
Now, so what are they used for then? Actually, hold on. I can
Alright, wait a
cut
minute.
down through this whole article right now and go to the quote at the bottom. Where'd it go? Limitations. I can't find it. I'll just go back up. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, just let's just go through this one.
Yeah, let's
Security
go through that.
cameras that can read and record vehicle license plate information spark privacy concerns across country over the summer. Peterborough has already been using security cameras with that ability on town buildings for a few years through the town administrators says or though the town administrator says officials don't use this feature. Typically employed by a law enforcement, automated license plate readers can capture and store vehicle license plate information using artificial intelligence, the databases that can be used to generate alerts and create vehicle activity records, according to a 2025 U.S. Homeland Security Market Survey report. I'll wait for
Sorry.
that. Several companies produce an automated license plate readers, with those made by manufacturer Flock Safety have become more synonymous with the device. Critics have raised concerns over the technology, arguing that the data capture equates to warrantless searches that could be used for mass surveillance. Accurate.
Yeah.
Peterborough officials say they do not use Flock safety cameras, but they do operate 36 outdoor security cameras that have the ability to read license plates, according to IT director Fash Farashani. Or Farashahi. Excuse me. I should know that pronunciation better. Some of Peterborough's cameras, which have been in use since 2023 and are located on several town-owned buildings, are equipped with, quote, optional license plate and facial detection capabilities that are available in many modern security cameras, Farashahi wrote in August 6 in an August 6 email to the Sentinel.
Huh.
Uh, Town administrator Nicole McStay said that while the cameras can read license plates, the town uses them for building security and checks them only retroactively, like in case of a break-in. We don't
So
use them proactively for law
building
enforcement
security.
purposes.
So are they
Yeah.
just pointed at buildings only? I don't understand that.
Yeah, so they're like mounted on like the outsides. They're just using them as security cameras. Basically, like so what I'm willing to bet you, and I say this because I like know these people, um, is that they're like, we want security cameras, guys. We need new security cameras. And I'm like, okay, we'll go out and buy the nicest new thing. They show up and they're like, oh wow, look at all these extra features they have. Ooh, wait a minute. I don't know if people are gonna love this. We should maybe make sure that we don't use any of these extra features. And and then people found out that those cameras have those extra features. And now they're kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like,
We don't
hold
use
on now.
that stuff. Yeah. Um, so uh
So
yeah.
they are not one of the ALR or ALPR type ones?
No, not like that. Because
But it
dude,
so see, it said town administrator said that while the cameras can read license plates, the town uses them for building security and checks them retroactively. So are they saying that the image can be like visually seen on like you can visually like go back and see the license plate yourself, or is it that it's like AI
well,
reading
there's that, but that's
things?
just how
Like, is
any
that
camera works. You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
know, yeah.
That's like
That's what I mean, like, is it that, or is it, like, that the fact that it just automatically will capture, like, license plates going by?
no, I'm willing to bet that it will like that it can like read the license plate data and store that data as a numeric value in a save file. Like, I'm willing to bet that those cameras are advanced enough that they could actually produce a list of license plates that drove past the camera within, like, a window of
Yeah.
time.
Although with Flock, I've heard they've gotten up to a some ridiculous percentage, like 70 or something, like percentage of the actual reading of the license plate comes out wrong because with the way they built it with AI, it tries to compensate. If like a letter or a number is blurry or something, it'll just fucking make it up. And that's
Well,
why
yeah, because AI sucks. Like
yeah. Just 'cause so people, you know what I mean? So people are getting pulled over, have like one letter or number off of their thing. They're like, "Oh, you're fucking wanted for murder. Get down." I'm like, "Fucking whoa."
Yeah, I mean, it can't even spell the name of states right. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
can't fucking figure that shit out. Like, never mind, you ask a the image generating LLM to spit out, like, text, and it usually fucks it up. They're getting better at it, but they still eat dirt.
Right.
They're really terrible at it. So, like,
Well,
I
I'm
would
assuming
imagine
it's
their
the
ability to read is probably also maybe not as great.
yeah, I think
Um
the reading is a lot worse than the actual like generating now at this point. Like if it's like
Yeah, I'm
something
sure you're right.
handwritten or, or it's something far away or blurry, the way that AI tries to like just the way that a lot of these things now just they'll like generate like what it thinks is like gonna be like there. Yeah, it's just not a good system. Like, AI
No,
inside of
and
AI inside of AI.
right, and like I said, I think they probably like, I'm willing to bet knowing the people that run the town of Peterborough, um, they were probably like, we need new cameras, let's just buy new cameras," and they're like, "Oh, it comes with all this extra shit, we just won't turn all the extra shit on." Um, my guess is that that's
Oh, well, they say they're stored in-house, so at least that's a good thing right there.
yeah, yeah, but it's
Not being actively uploaded like streamed like these other cameras are.
right, right. I think I do think that they understand damn well that if they were to do something like that, that they would be like there would be a lot of smoke, um, from the town. Like this, I remember when this- look, if you wanna see one of the world's most entertaining Facebook groups, the Peterborough, New Hampshire town Facebook group is I unbelievably unhinged. Like, and they
I don't
moderate
know,
it like
man. I've
crazy
seen
too.
I've seen
It's
a lot
fucking
of unhinged town Facebook groups.
dude, we do a damn good job over here, let me tell you. Like, it's I know people
I
because,
think every
um
fucking town is like that, isn't it? It's insane.
no, kinda it is and it isn't, right? Like,
Just like they're
so
very specific issues people get super worked up over, like within each town.
yes. Yeah, you're right about that. So, the something important to keep in mind about this particular part of the Monadnock region, right, is that, w we're all part of the Kentucky Valley Regional High School District, like this, that school district, right? And there's 9 towns. There's 9 fucking towns that go to that one high school. And that one high school is in Peterborough. So you've got students that come all the way from, like, Antrim, like, on the far end of the distance to go to Peterborough for high school. We have There's 2 different middle schools in the district. There's Great Brook and there's South Meadow. And gradually, the elementary schools consolidate into the 2 middle schools, which then consolidate into the one single high school. And because of the relationship that all of the towns need to maintain with each other over the school district, all of these 9 towns are basically always all up in Peterborough's shit, and understandably so, because it's like it's sort of like the economic hub. Like, obviously, Antrim is, like, definitely has a lot going on in it. Um, but towns like Hancock or Greenfield or Temple, Bennington, um, these all these towns are more they're smaller. They have, like, much smaller downtown areas with less, like, active commerce centers.
Mhm.
So a lot of the activity happens in Peterborough, and that's also where a lot of the wealthiest people are. Now there's some carve outs to that. You have a lot of wealthy people that live in Hancock. You have a lot of wealthy people that live in Dublin. Dublin is, like, incredibly affluent. But,
Yeah,
but
and, like, each
Peterborough
of these
is
places
sort of
has, like, one store, if that.
right, yeah, exactly. Francistown has, like, Francistown's starting to, like,
Oh,
expand a
a
little
couple
bit and
gas
serve
stations
as
here
more
and
pop
there.
even that, like,
I love the towns that
there's
are
these
just
towns that
one
don't
road, like,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, I'm dead ass, there's a bunch of these towns that don't even necessarily have a gas station in them. So that means that Peterborough gets a lot of focus, especially because it's like there's a lot of wealthy people that live here, there's a lot of business that happens in Peterborough that's like it is sort of like the economic hub for the entire school district. And it also like 101 and 202 intersect in Peterborough,
Yeah,
right?
I was
Like,
gonna
so
say
you
a
have
lot
these
of
2
different directions you can
major
go there.
right, you have these 2 major state highways that, like, basically, like, hit each other in the middle of Peterborough, so that means that there's a lot of traffic that comes through there for a whole bunch of different reasons, so you have a whole bunch of people from, like, nearby areas stopping through town, so it gets a lot of movement, and, um, and because of sort of the role it plays regionally, um it draws a lot of attention, and then like, on top of that, politically for years and years, it's always on, like it's always sort of the butt of a lot of jokes because it's like, "Oh, the crazy, progressive, lefty, liberal Peterborough, and fuck Peterborough, and blah, blah," and I'm like, "Yeah, like, there's a certain amount of that that I 100% agree with." Um, like, it's like, it's really tough to, and to argue with some of the points that the other towns will make when they're talking about how annoying Peterborough is because it's, like, pretty true. And I say that as, like, dude, I grew up in this fucking town. Like, I've lived here for the majority of my life.
Yeah, you
Um,
bunch of damn liberal elitists over there. Fucking
yeah, yeah.
Elittleboro.
I assure you, no, I'm, sort of an outlier in my opinions for my town. But, uh, at any rate because of the utter insanity that goes on, and we've had a lot of, like, um, influx of sort of, like, weird folks. We have a lot of people from, like, New Jersey that moved up here that are, like, this is their retirement home, and they're, like, NIMBYing the fuck out. Um, anybody but there's probably folks that are aware of a guy named
So,
Chris
people
Maidman.
that are
He's,
moving up that
yeah,
don't want shit built in the
right,
place that they just moved to. Okay, I
right,
gotcha.
exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
There's people are probably aware of this guy named Chris Maidman who, used to be involved with why am I drawing a blank on it right now? Coke shit. It's one of the fucking Coke organizations. Why am
Yeah, well,
Americans for Prosperity.
ah,
He was deeply tied into
AFP,
the
yep.
AFP for a long time. He's got, like, thousands and thousands of followers on Twitter now because he made a conscious effort to, like, weasel himself into the conservative political sphere in the state. So, and now he's left AFP and is a little bit more closely tied in with the Free State movement. He did a podcast for a little while with this other, like, crypto nerd, Joel Valenzuela. And yeah, he's a bit kooky. Um,
That sounds a little bit.
and, yeah, and there is
But
sort
would
of
you
this
wanna have a
weird
beer with them?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so there's a weird, I uh, Peterborough is not as I mean, maybe people are starting to understand this because of our state reps, but Peterborough is not as blue as people would think, or it's not as conscious as people would think it is. There was a point in time where it was a little bit more, like, self-aware, but these days, not so much.
Yeah. I
Things have
feel like
changed.
it's kinda like this cultural, like, push and pull that's been going on the fucking past, like, 10, 15 years. Like, you
Yeah.
could say that about a lot of different places that people assume are like, "Oh, it's all just a bunch of libs over there." And it's like, "No. No, dude." Like, there's people of, like, different, like, completely opposite political opinions, like, everywhere in every town. Like, there's no
Yeah.
place that's just like, "Oh, it's all this, it's all that." Like, no. There's people fighting, like, in every town across the fucking country right now.
Right, yeah, exactly. But, I mean, just to sort of cap all this off, I'll go to other towns 'cause like, there's only so much work that I do in Peterborough. I do a lot of work in other, other towns and other parts of this region. Um, just 'cause that's kind of the yeah, I grew up in Milford, hard same. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, Milford definitely it's
Yeah,
just a little
Milford's super fun.
Milford's cooked. But, yeah, how do I explain this? I'll go to, I'll go to these other towns, and I'll be talking with clients, and we'll be, like, shooting the shit or whatever, and they will tell me that they joined the Peterborough Facebook group because of how fucking insane it is. It's like they don't even live in the town, and they're like, "No, well, I kinda have to pay attention to it because of how, like, how much of this region's commerce and activity is centered around catering to that particular Facebook group,
Yeah.
especially because we have, like, multiple retirement communities in Peterborough. I'm willing to bet people don't realize this. There's, like, a massive, and I mean fucking massive, like, retirement village in Peterborough called Rivermead. It is a
Yeah.
complex. They buy new land, like, every fucking year, and they are just, like, tearing out a whole bunch of woods that I grew up hiking in. It was, like, down the street from the house that I grew up in, and they are slowly flattening all of those woods and turning it into, like, high-rise luxury apartments for retirees, you know what I mean? And there's certain aspects of it that are good because it can provide elderly people a means to, like, transition from, like, "Oh, I want, like, I can still live alone," to, like, full-on hospice care, you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
there's certain value to that, right? Like, I'm not trying to shit on it entirely, but, like, it does mean that the demographics of the town, over half the population is over the age of 65. And you're talking about, like, an economic hub of a region, right? Like, we have a ton of, like, I mean, a ton. We have quite a few, like, local restaurants
Yeah.
and businesses that need to be run and operated by younger people, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, under the age of fucking 45.
There's fucking nowhere
And,
affordable to fucking live. Yeah, all the apartment
no.
complexes keep going up in fucking prices every fucking year.
Right. Right, and then furthermore, it's like there's been a pretty concerted push. It's weird because 'cause you'll have, like, NIMBYs that are like, "Yeah, we want young families to be able to live here, just, like, not where I can see them."
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's like, why don't they just
Right.
fucking buy some land and build their own house, like, somewhere, like, just
Yeah,
fucking it's like, well,
so so then you'll have these big pushes to have all this workforce housing that goes in, and the developers will come in, they'll be like, "Yeah, we can't build that." We just this economically, you can't do that, and I would know because I build things. The cost of materials are too high. Property tax on the land is too high. It's just that, like, none of it is feasible, right? Like, it's not really possible to do that. And then a handful of projects that do go through that do actually get built, and there is, like, significant development occurring right now. There's a whole bunch of workforce housing that's going in, across from the high school. Um, but, like, now the main concern is that the electrical and sewer in town are not gonna be able to handle all of the increased housing demand. Right?
Hmm.
What does that do for the water, right? Like, there was an entire well that the town used to utilize, which I believe happened in the 1980s. They found out it was poisoned.
Huh.
right? So, like, that literally cut half the water access in half, cut the water access in half, rather. So, there's
They
a bunch of there's a bunch of wackiness in this area.
Whereas, Milford
Desi
just said,
can
"Fuck it."
attest to this. Yeah, yeah, Desi can attest to this, we're not unique in this problem, right? Milford has one of the most, toxic, uh, Superfund sites
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I used to
entire
hang out
known
there when I was a kid.
planet. Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
rope swing across the little river there
Yeah,
in the
I know,
Souhegan.
they had,
Yeah.
playgrounds and shit like that. Yeah, this is, when the new,
Before the Boys and Girls Club got built
DMV was
over there,
getting built,
it
DMV
was
was
woods. Yeah.
operating on these places. Yeah, I worked over there
There was
for
a
a while,
fence put up with that said, the contaminated area, do not enter.
Yep, yeah,
And
right
then
next to it,
they put some,
um
they cut the dirt out a little bit, put some grass down, and now they have a nice little theater rock set up over there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
wonder
was
how well
funny
they
when we were,
decontaminated it over there.
they're not, it's still one of the most toxic places on
Yeah, but there's
the
grass there now, so it must be safe.
I wouldn't touch that grass, dude. Um, no, I worked over there for about 5 years, and, there's a really, really bopping, uh, s barbecue and, smoked meats, trailer that would set up there during the warmer months of the year, and, the guy who did it unfortunately passed away a number of years ago, but they were Phils, and they were pretty bopping, but they would set up right next to it. It's fine. I I wasn't worried about, my meat being poisoned or anything like that. I don't think I'm gonna get leukemia from it, but,
Yeah. I think I might be
yeah,
radioactive a little bit from that river over there.
yeah. But no, and I mean, and look, this extends further too. Obviously, if you live in Merrimack or you live anywhere near Rye, or if you're in sort of the Pease Air Force area, you are very, very, very familiar with the extensive PFAS contamination in
Yeah.
the groundwater over there,
'Cause
right?
these are all factory
New Hampshire's
towns.
really polluted. I did an interview earlier today. Everybody can look forward to catching it when I can finally get my fucking ducks in a row enough to get it posted. But I spoke to executive director of 350 NH, just
Yeah.
talking about
Why wasn't
how
it posted 5 minutes after you did the interview?
yeah, why
God
didn't I
damn it.
fucking get this shit? Yeah. But we were talking about how trash will get shipped up from Massachusetts to New Hampshire. We literally take Massachusetts trash.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. So, anyways, um, but I don't know, maybe all this dovetails nicely into our next segment. With the Again, just go to the Milford Residence page and search brown water. It's so bad. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Our water is fucked. Yeah, the southern New Hampshire is not in great shape, dude. Um, and it's not just the seacoast. Everybody that lives near the seacoast somehow seems to be under the impression that the seacoast area of New Hampshire, if you live in Dover, there's nowhere else in fucking New Hampshire that exists. Let me tell you, we exist. Um, Fuck out of here. Um, yeah, but this is all of this is very interesting preliminary context to talk about everybody's favorite state rep from Peterborough, New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. He's got that celebrity boost now, though.
So he's had it before.
Whoop.
He's had this before. This isn't the first fucking time. Not
So, yeah.
not quite to this level, but
What do you think
yeah.
every word is gonna be on here? What could it possibly be? From
Hey,
the
there's so
retweet from this person that just spends all day just, fucking looking for shit to hate on the internet, apparently.
fucking Temu billionaire with black mold poisoning decides she's the fucking authority on
Do I have to
yeah.
go to X?
Why?
Ah, really?
Oh, get out of here.
Come on, I can't watch it without logging in?
That's fucking stupid.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, we're in. I've hacked in the Matrix.
For a journey of
Let's see what he's got to say here.
gender
Quote-unquote
ideology,
ideology.
as defined as the belief system that we are all assigned a sex at birth and need to go through a journey of our own to find a gender identity that is separate from that sex, is the very ideological belief system that is reinforcing the stereotypes its most fervent ideologues claim to be dissolving.
Pause that shit right there.
For example,
what?
Okay. No, that's wrong. That's stupid. That's moronic. Okay. Gender ideology, as he seems to be describing it,
I mean,
is
like,
actually the examination of the concept that gender is a social construct. So he doesn't fucking understand his own goddamn words. He
Yeah.
literally doesn't get it. He's a fucking idiot. In counter to that, maybe he's not an idiot. Maybe he's just an evil bastard. I
well,
haven't
it's all
really
about how you frame the argument.
Right. So okay.
Yeah, that is also a question.
All right, I'm gonna have to fucking address this because like it's just it literally I get this question all the time. Right. So Desi's asking in the chat, out of genuine curiosity, is the voice a gimmick or is this real life? If you want to know what Jonah Wheeler sounded like before he became a state rep, you can go to locally sourced, the YouTube channel, and you can look up Deep Dive. There was a period of time before Jonah was doing all this that he and I worked together pretty frequently. He would come on locally sourced. We had this like sort of little show thing that we would do together. We'd talk about stuff. We'd literally make fun of Dave Rubin together. Right?
That's wild.
He did not sound like this then. He did not sound like this. He did not have this timbre and cadence. Right?
It's very
So
Matt Walsh-ish like vibes that I feel like he's trying to exude with this.
So here's the thing. And I need everybody to like fucking fully internalize this. Because when I explain this, everybody's gonna be like, well, Carter, aren't you being racist? And be like, no, no. No, no. I'm certainly not being racist. It's because I actually like genuinely I would actually make the argument that I think he's maybe even being a little bit racist in this scenario. Because I've had a lot of people be like, "Why is he doing that weird pregnant pause Obama thing?"
Yeah.
Is that like an Obama
Okay, I'm glad
impression?
I wasn't the only one that heard that.
Right? See, everybody has this reaction. They're like, "Wait a minute, am I racist?"
Like, hold on.
They're like, "Hold on a second, right?" Now, something I want everybody to consider. Remember just a minute ago when I was talking about the demographics of Peterborough, right? I was saying, "Oh yeah, it's been historically a pretty fucking blue town. We've sent Democrats to the state house, regardless of like what was happening with the broader state political system." Jonah very, very well understands his audience. In that sense, he's not stupid at all. He's quite intelligent. He's quite savvy. And he knows damn well that the people of Peterborough love them some Barack Hussein Obama. Love that guy, right? Peak love for Barack Obama.
Yeah, libs love Obama for sure.
They just do. They just do, right? Now, Jonah is intelligent enough to know that if he sort of embodies and exudes the same kind of energy, it's fair and balanced, and I'm going to talk to you as though I'm a real politician, cut from the cloth of the days of old,
Yeah.
right? He's making a play. That's an optics play. Okay. And the reason why I would say that I would like people will knee jerk and they'll say, "Well, Carter, you're being racist by saying that this young black man is just like Obama. What are you being racist? You're saying all black men are Obama." No, not at all.
No.
Hardly.
Nah, dude.
I think it's a disservice to the drone striker in chief Obama, a man who I have plenty of political disagreements with. Let's be clear, but I think it is preying, it is manipulating, it is leveraging the internalized racism of the elderly boomer class that is so jaded by IdPol
Yeah.
that they think that if they send somebody who is of a marginalized group,
Like the
very
internalized,
quite visibly, right?
like the
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
unknown to
They're
self, like
defeating their
racist, like
internalized
idea
race.
of like
Yeah,
if I check
exactly.
this box off, then that's good. I'm being a good
And I'm
person.
not racist.
If I, you know,
Right,
yeah,
exactly. So
right.
he knows that. He's yeah, I think he's acutely aware of that, and he utilizes that to his favor, and it works brilliantly. It works absolutely brilliantly. If anybody's wondering, they can go check out the videos that I've posted on locally sourced from this past year where they were doing listening sessions, him and Peter Leishman. And, the degree to which the older, um, liberal and progressive constituency are just, like, swoon over him, right? And they're just absolutely captivated by him. People on the younger end in town hate him. They can't stand him. At least if you're leaning to the left, if you believe that trans people are fucking people.
Yeah. Oh, what
Um,
party was this dude for again? I forgot.
oh, he's a Democrat.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
He is a Democrat. He describes himself as a liberal,
Right. A
right?
classical liberal. Ruben style now, apparently.
Not even. He just says he's a liberal. Um, but the
No,
all
I'm
of this to
saying he
say
is
that,
that
like,
now.
he might as well be, right? He's kind of become everything that he tried to not be. It's really it's a weird, it's a very strange progression. It's kind of fascinating in a way. But, people will get really, like, worked up about the Obama like, observation or whatever, and, like, look, I will be the one to say it since everybody else seems so fucking scared to, and I don't I'm fully confident in saying it because I used to work with him on content for, like, an extended period of time, like, months,
Yeah.
right? Like, he and I would talk a lot. He literally came to me before he ran for office and was like, "What do you think about this?" I was like, "Dude, I don't," like, I think it would be, he was at the time, he was doing a lot of work with Rights and Democracy, and I was like, "Dude, I think you should maybe spend some more time just, like, doing jobs, keep doing the work you're doing with Rights and Democracy, go out, be an advocate more, do activism more, talk to more people, get more into it, get more involved. That way you learn some more stuff because I've seen the state house chew people up and spit them out, and they come out totally different people." I was like, I'm worried that, you're young, like, he was doing this at, like, 18, like, maybe he might have, I can't even remember if he was 18 at the time. This was, like, very young.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, I'm just, like, I'm worried that this is gonna alter you in a way that that deviates you from the path that you're on right now, and I think the path that you're on is really good." And he was like, "No, I'm confident. I've got this. I know what I'm up against. I know what I'm gonna go and get myself into." I don't think he did, because
Yeah.
at the time, like, he was like a bunch of his friends, people that I knew that knew him well, people I still know, people I still
Yeah.
talk to,
Just the pressure to
are
compromise and
trans.
like, vote as a block and this and that. Like when you get
Right.
into
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah, every they so,
be like, oh, well, we're gonna get this one thing if
please
we throw
play it
these
out.
people over
Please,
under
please
the
show the
bus.
people. What do you want me to play?
Oh, that was One of the older videos of him.
Oh,
Uh,
you can seriously, go check them out on
Yeah.
Locally Sourced. Just go search deep dive. They're fucking long. They're long videos. It's not worth it.
Link below.
Um, yeah, but, look, like, I everybody gets really nervous about this, and I think that that's, like, I don't like I said, Jonah's not stupid, so I think that's a calculation that he makes. I genuinely actually think that that is a deliberate move that he's choosing, and he knows because at the previous listening session that happened in Peterborough, like, a couple years ago when the whole cycle of bathroom bill stuff happened, or the second time, there was like a circus, and you had Breitbart, you had New York Sun, you had like all these like national right-wing outlets that were there, and they were covering it, and you had the LGB coalition that shipped people from fucking Arizona and shit like that up to testify, and they all um
Yeah.
pushed people out, like townspeople, elderly people that were trying to come and engage in a listening session with their state rep. All those old people, they had to stand in the back of the room. They had to be standing there the whole time, incredibly uncomfortable because a whole bunch of fucking shitty fuck ass kids that, with their little
Jesus.
streamer setups came in to record it and blast it all over social media. So it became this giant national circus or whatever. And he's hanging out with Lily Tong Williams and like it's fucking whatever, right? Like is all
Jeez.
just I'm setting the table a little bit here. That like there is a whole context to this area that people just seem to not fucking understand. Right? And I have had people come to me after all this has happened, and they're like, "We gotta run somebody against this guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not the one that's gonna fucking do it, dude." Like, I'm like, I have been abundantly clear with all of you that, like, I have no desire to be a politician. I fucking hate dynasty politics. My mom was already a state rep for this area, this district before. I'm not doing it. Like, I have my lane that I have chosen to exist in, and I'm going to exist in that lane.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you give a shit, you can run against him, and I will come and work on your campaign. I will do whatever you need from me. I will help you get to where you need to go, but I am not your candidate. I'm just not. Sorry. Like, you're gonna have to suck it up. My role is in media. Period. The end. Right? I do better where I am right now than I would if I did that.
Yeah.
So,
So you're
uh
feeling real John Stewart about it then, I see.
I guess so.
People keep telling him he needs to fucking run for president.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like, come
I I
on.
suppose that's an apt comparison. But at any rate, I really need like, we're starting off with
I
just,
say
like,
Kalinsky,
fundamental
dude.
misunderstanding here, and I think he knows that, like, he's said in other contexts, he's like, "I'm not seeking higher office, I'm not going for anything else, I just wanna do the job that I'm doing, blah, 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 blah." I okay, like, we'll see, dude. Like, I made the mistake of trusting you at one point that you were gonna be able to keep your shit together when you got into this whole other mess, so, like, I'm not trusting you again. I for anything, for any reason, not as far as I can as the strongest guy in my town can throw him, you know what I mean? Or actually, maybe I should say the weakest elderly woman in town can throw him. I don't
Yeah.
trust him that far.
Yeah.
Um, so at any rate,
Yeah.
his entire conception of what gender ideology even is wrong. So we're already starting off with a fucking stupid basis. Continue.
Yep.
Example, a man who dresses a little bit more femininely, he's wearing makeup, he puts on nail polish, a dress, maybe his wrist's a little bit more limp. He is breaking the
Giggity.
common understanding of what it means to be a man. And anybody with
Yeah, like, how old is he, man? Like, this is some, like, the 80s, fucking, like, 90s, like, homophobic, like, shit, just off the bat right
Right.
there.
Right, limp in the wrist. Would like that is so like that right there, that's actually homophobic.
Yeah.
Okay. So like we're not even into the transphobia yet. We're into like raw traditional classical homophobia.
Right.
Like what? Like, this is
These people that
is
call
it
them that are like that are turfs or whatever are not like not even like feminists or like it's ridiculous. Isn't he ran around Steven Skater?
probably.
That would be crazy. I mean, I guess not. It wouldn't be that crazy, I suppose. But yeah, this is just straight up like, yeah, just like the homophobic shit right here.
Half
Yeah,
a brain or
that's raw homophobia.
a sense of decency would say to themselves, go be you, God bless. The common understandings of what it means to be a man and a woman are often wrong, cruel, suppressive of a very creative spirit in us all that leads to the people the likes of which this world so desperately needs.
Pause.
And then that
So right there, after he says the incredibly homophobic thing, he literally acknowledges that he understands that his initial premise at the beginning of the video is incorrect. Because what he immediately acknowledges in that section right there is that gender is a social construct that creates restraints around people and what they are and what they can be and what they should be.
Right.
What being, you know, because gender and sex aren't the same thing, right? Like they're simply not. Sex is literally like it comes down to what the actual biological parts that you were assigned at birth with, right?
Yep.
AFAB or AMAB. There's a reason those acronyms exist. And
It's
he just demonstrated that he does understand that there is a difference between sex and gender.
yeah. Like
So he's in that one moment, he genuinely refuted not only his original thesis, but he just refuted everything that he says following it.
right. And it's always like such a weird argument that people are like, "Well, you trust the science. The science says that I'm right." And it's like, no, it doesn't. Like the science like science and sociology like but when you combine those things you find out that actually trans people are a thing and like it's not this fucking binary thing that only involves like sex and gender is not the same thing like you uh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, so basically, first off, I'm sorry, my computer's jagging out a little bit. Um, First off, if we set aside the entire conversation of gender and we just talk about sex as a biological thing, uh, being transgender biologically is also a thing. There's Klinefelter syndrome, there's Turner syndrome, there's ovotesticular disorder, which is exceedingly rare but does exist. There's congenital adrenal hyperplasia or CAH. Um,
Yeah,
all of
well,
these
they
things.
they would say that all these people are just in the margins, so therefore they don't count, and that's not like the norm. So that can just discount like all of these different types of conditions and people existing. So
Yes, but the existence of the marginality proves that that construct is that it doesn't it is not binary. Like there
right.
if this like if what they are suggesting was true, then there would be no outlier, right? Like it
Yeah.
is a fundamental misunderstanding of a scientific basis of sex as a thing in the first fucking place.
Yep.
Right? So like you literally already don't understand it. But like let's let's say hypothetically that you acknowledge that. Do you acknowledge that like things that there are mental things that exist, like mental conditions, mental ailments that exist? And I'm not saying this to, like, say that being transgender is an ailment because it's not, right? It's just a state of being in the same way that being autistic is a state of being, right? And the reason that we consider autistic people to be disabled is because we built an entire system that does not accommodate for autistic people, right? So when it comes to the relationship of an autistic person to the society that we exist in, they encounter disability because the structures that we have developed do not account for that type of person,
Yeah.
right? They're not sensitive and accepting of that particular dynamic of mental arrangement, right? Um, so if you're gonna suggest that being born in the wrong body, which he will go on to talk about, doesn't exist, and you might as well just tell everybody that being autistic doesn't exist.
Right.
You might as well tell people that you know, like any variety of disabilities are just they don't exist.
Right.
You
Well,
know, so something with depression
might as
doesn't exist.
well, yeah, I was gonna say you might as well just tell somebody like that's sad, just like stop it. It's just like, it's all
Just
in
yeah,
your
just
head.
cut it out.
It's all in your head, dude.
Just quit being sad. You're yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just
Like,
cheer up, bro. Like the fuck's a big deal.
get over it. Yeah, kick rocks. Like, no, that's a real thing. That is a very real thing that exists for people, and you have to acknowledge it. There are so many other arguments to be made here to, um, push back on all this, but, you don't the point is that you don't get to cherry pick, right? You don't get to cherry pick accepting one dynamic, but not another. That's not how this works. You can we
Mhm.
can keep going.
A man calls himself a woman, and he is the one reinforcing those very negative stereotypes, as if being a woman is a feeling of being feminine that can be distilled into something that anybody can achieve, as if being a man is just a feeling that.
Well, isn't that
Yes, it
the
is.
whole point of people, doing all this fucking TRT right now? Like all these, RFK, all these
Right,
manosphere guys, they're doing gender affirming care so they can feel more like a
it
man.
is.
So
It
that they
is.
can,
It is.
like, oh, I want to be more manly, dude. Oh, I don't like that there may be potentially like, estrogen in my body balancing out all these like psychotic like male thoughts I've been having all my life.
Right.
Can't bear, you know what I mean?
Yes,
They're just like,
exactly.
I can't,
Exactly, dude.
like, I want to be pissed off
Look,
and with a boner all my life, dude. Like, I can't deal with
so
it.
I talked about this a bunch on a live stream with Arya at one point, but, the vast majority of gender affirming surgeries that are conducted on minors in the United States, the vast majority, I'm talking like over 85%, those are performed on cis males with excessive breast tissue, and those are top surgeries to reduce male breast tissue so that those boys feel more like men and less like women. So,
So,
by
yeah,
this logic, no more top surgeries for boys.
right. No
None.
more replacing your
No
hormones
more
because that's
like,
the
and
they
I'm not even saying that, like, I'm not even like, I don't take that position at all, right? I think people should be able to have those performed, but,
well, it's the
um
whole thing is like so many people are just like, well, that doesn't involve me, but I want to be able to, say other people shouldn't do whatever the hell they want. So,
right. It's
that's how a
drawing a
lot of
very
these people
arbitrary
just
line.
go around all these type of things is that they just don't think of like other people and they just, there's not a whole lot of empathy, I feel like, when it comes to a lot of issues with people.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the reason there's not empathy for it is because there's a deep and fundamental, like, lack of understanding of how things work in the first place,
And
and
the
then when people
unwillingness to
go into
learn about it.
yeah, so there's that, and then, because that's a huge part of it, right? There's a huge part of, I I I know the world as best as I can. I understand it as best as I can. And it was taught to me in a certain way. And now you're telling me that it's not that way, that it's something different. So you're attacking everything that I know about the world that I live in. And what that does is it creates a sense of fear, right? It creates a sense of anxiety, which is, a feeling. Um, but by this logic, by Jonah's logic, it's just one of those get over it kind of things. You're just
Yeah.
sad, just stop being sad, right?
Right.
Um, so I don't know what the fuck that's about. But at any rate, it's a fear response. It's like it comes from a feeling of having like no control. Um, and like like the world that you understand is slipping away from you, so therefore you're losing your place in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of just like internalized stuff.
Right. Anyways, we can keep going.
Anybody can achieve when distilled. This is dangerously wrong. And let me read you a quote from a woman named Kara Dansky, former lawyer for the
Dangerous.
ACLU, derived as the pejorative word turf, someone who we are told we should.
Derided. So he didn't even fucking say that word right, which is funny, but
They say
derided
derived.
as the pejorative word turf.
Didn't they label themselves that? Or was
So
that a thing?
TERF is not a word, TERF is an acronym.
Yeah.
It stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist.
Right.
Which is not a pejorative. Oh, is this the guy who actively tries to sound like Obama?
I can neither
I love it when somebody else
confirm
comes
nor
in and
deny.
fucking acknowledges it, just blam. Yeah, TERF is an acronym, it's not a
Let me be
word.
clear.
And it what it stands for is, as we just said, trans exclusionary radical feminist, which is just an accurate description of what these people are. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you exclude trans
Like
people
third wave
on the
feminists. Let's be
grounds
clear about
of
that part.
radical feminism, on the grounds of being in, like, vehement radical support for women, i.e., feminism, right? In the very classical, like, white feminist sense,
Right.
right?
Not the inclusive what am I trying to say? The type of feminism that has nothing to do with like the LGBT like plus movement, you know.
Well, like, look, feminism as a concept is just, in a lot of ways, is just sort of like synonymous with egalitarianism. Right? Is
Yeah, I
it
mean
like
like the actual true form of it is just like equality. That's that's it.
right, right. If you're going off
But
of
if you're talking about
like
like political
Abelson's definition.
movements, like
Yeah,
it's a whole
exactly.
other thing.
Right. Um, so the again, fundamentally misunderstanding what it is, it, saying it's a pejorative is kind of silly, right? It's just saying what it is. And if people have a bad reading of what the term TERF, the acronym TERF means, then that says a whole lot more about the trans
Like the
exclusionary
thing
radical
that you
feminists
believe,
than it does
yeah.
about the people who
It's
are like
it's just a
seeing their
descriptor
actions
that
and
is accurate.
making a moral judgment on what they are, right? Like
Yeah.
that. So that's wrong, and we can continue.
Shouldn't listen to, who says very presciently, quote, women have had to fight for our rights for thousands of years, all over the world, and for hundreds of years in this country, because we have been discriminated against and excluded from public civil society, from the educational arena, from the legal arena, from numerous arenas on the basis of sex. And many of us who support these movements are not about to turn around and pretend that sex is not a meaningful, legal, and physical category. And I'm not either, Kara.
And no one is
Because
disputing that.
as soon as we
Pause.
say,
Pause that shit.
That's the sex and gender
So he
conflation
just
again.
he just made a distinction between sex and gender.
Right.
Like, by using this quote, he deliberately made like, from this turf, he made, like, and so not just him, but the turf that he's quoting, um, acknowledge the distinction, acknowledge the difference by saying sex specifically, right? He's missing the feather pen, yeah.
I do declare.
It's like, it's all a performance, dude. I need everybody to fully know and understand this isn't just a performance. And it works on the liberals in this town, I assure you. Um,
Ugh.
and people can ask what's wrong with the voters of Peterborough, and I would say, come to Peterborough and find out. Come to town and have some conversations with people. You'll figure it out pretty quick. Um, yeah. So, look, this whole quote, though not wrong, right? Like, it's not incorrect that the biologically female at birth women have been fighting for equal rights in an egalitarian sense for a really long time, for centuries, millennia even, depending on the society you're looking at.
Oh yeah, very dependent.
Right. And, um, so that portion is not inaccurate. The problem is that the argument is going to be used to pull the ladder up on other marginalized communities, and this is
Right.
the core issue with what, is popularly understood to be white feminism, right? Is that it's a specific it's a specific, like, sub-identity group that wants that level of power, but is willing to basically pull the ladder on any other marginalized community. So they're making a distinction, and they're not seeing this like the general broad issues of intersectionality when it comes to the oppression of people, not just based off of gender or
Yeah.
sex, but also based on race, based on disability status, based on sexual orientation, right? Because what you're attracted to and what you are and what you identify as are two separate things, right? Um, you can be cisgender and be gay. You know what I mean? Like, you can feel as though you were born in the correct body, but be attracted to somebody of the same gender, right? Like, this is all really basic fucking shit. Like, I
Yeah.
probably don't have to, like, explain this to the leftists in the chat. I'm pretty sure they fucking understand, but just in case we have any, like, random strays that came into this discussion, you know what I mean? I feel like I need to spell this shit out for people. Um, that, like, this is an act of creating a distinct line between, like, which marginalized groups we entertain as human beings that deserve equal rights and which ones we don't. And for me, as somebody who believes in egalitarianism, that's fundamentally unacceptable. You cannot fucking do that. You have to entertain every single human's humanity.
Yeah.
And if they're telling you something about themselves, they're saying, "I experience the world this way," you have 0 right to tell them anything otherwise, period. Like, that is their lived experience, done and done. There's no debating this, right?
Mm.
What you need to do is you need to, alter your reaction to it. You suddenly need to figure out a way to understand that this thing that you are being told that is in direct conflict with your understanding of the world is existing in the world that you thought you understood, which means your understanding of the world is incomplete. Now you can have a fear-based reaction where you reject them and you want to kill them or you want to like excise them from society, or you can just fucking change and be like, "Oh, wait a minute, maybe there was an aspect of living in this world that I didn't get." As though it's somehow surprising that we can still learn new things until the fucking last day that we exist on this planet, because you can and you will.
Yeah, that's the thing I hate is when people just think that, like, I'm all done learning for, like, my life. Like, I went to school, I fucking, I got my beliefs I've had since I was, like, a teenager, and I'm gonna just hold on to that forever. It's like,
Right.
dude, you gotta, like, adjust your worldview when new information presents itself, like, or else you just,
Right.
like, yeah, that's how you get to be, like, an old man yells at clouds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Alright, we
Like
gotta keep going because we're just
yeah.
we're cooking
That being
ourselves.
a man is no more than a feeling that anybody can achieve. As soon as we say that being a woman is no more than a feeling that anybody can achieve, those strict legal definitions, the basis of which these sex-based rights that are the protections from horrific discrimination the world has seen.
I can almost guarantee you no mention of trans men in this, by the way.
Right,
Don't mean
yep,
anything.
100%.
They are dissolved because the law is only as good as its definitions. And if definitions mean no more than what we feel, then they don't mean anything. Language doesn't mean anything.
Language is constantly evolving to, to keep up with things that we know and how it's used in society. Like, 10 years
None
ago,
of it
people weren't going
means
around saying, "I'm gonna yeet this thing." You know what I mean?
none of it fucking means anything, dude. It's all a fucking construction of our
Like,
own
yeah, all
understandings
words
of
are made up,
the
dude.
social apparatus that we built for ourselves. Why is this so fucking hard for people to wrap their heads around? We designed this entire fucking society for ourselves. We created this whole fucking thing. The reason boys wear blue and girls wear pink when they
Mm.
fucking come out of the goddamn womb in the in the nursery, or the way their shit is marketed to them, is it's literally for marketing purposes. It's literally for capitalism. That's
Yep.
the fucking point. This is not that hard. These are social constructs. He is like, yes, they do
Like,
not
there
mean
yeah.
anything. We
Like,
have
there's a
to
reason,
decide
though.
what they mean. We have to make a choice. We have to observe the world that we exist in, and we have to find language to describe those things. And when those laws no longer work because our understanding of the world has advanced to a point that we now have a new understanding that is in direct conflict with the previous orientation of understanding, then what we do is we genuinely have to rewrite the fucking laws. Matt, I wonder how he
Yeah.
feels about languages with gendered noun classes. Did you ever hear of a neutral gender? Right? Like
Yeah.
this is normative in every single Romance language, as well as languages like German, like Germanic languages, like fucking English. English is a Germanic language. Like, this is normal. This is incredibly normal. They, as a term, exists when you are trying to identify somebody and you do not know what their gender is.
Right.
If you have a fucking masked individual wearing nothing but baggy fucking pants and they rob a bank, and you
Say they
cannot
got
tell what their
away.
gender is by looking at them, then you say they.
Yeah.
They, that person, that individual robbed the bank. You are already using a gender non-conforming language in that scenario. So why is it so fucking difficult to wrap your head around this?
Like, it's
Anyways,
not, it's just obstinance.
right, he's
And
literally, like, arguing against himself in this video.
the law no longer means
Did you say he? Jesus, what, easy with the pronouns there.
How dare I?
anything.
How dare I inappropriately gender
my
this?
other gripe beyond sex-based spaces that has caused the teeny bits of controversy that I have experienced over the course of my last 4 years in the State House has been standing up
Well,
against the belief that we are
Say
all
what?
so
born
that's a little bit
in
of
the
an
wrong body
understatement.
and need to medicalize ourselves in order to achieve who we truly are. Children being told this.
A lot of people need medicine to like function in society, dude.
Is most importantly the issue. Because when you listen to people like John Skinner, Claire Abernathy, Pershma Mosley, and the many others who are labeled as detransitioners, but are really just young people who have had their bodies destroyed, their endocrine systems damaged, their sexual function left destroyed. I mean, let me collect myself before I get too upset.
Well,
Oh
it
my
sounds like
god.
some individuals
I'm
made
in the
some
fucking river.
wrong life choices for them, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else you
Right.
expect, dude. Like, this is not a society problem. This is a personal issue.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing is like, okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about denying puberty blockers to children? Something like something that can be completely undone. Nobody's performing
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. It's all bullshit.
like
Like, no one, there's not like being. That's the big thing they keep fucking saying over and over. It's just a straight up lie. It's like they're mutilating the children. They're fucking castrating
no,
them.
that's
They're
just
giving
not
them
happening.
the hormone blockers
It's
are gonna
literally
make
not
it so
happening.
that they'll never be fertile and stuff. And it's like, first of all, why the fuck? Like, what do you care about like whether these children are fertile or not? Like, first of all, like I just like
Well, let me
I can't get over the whole thing. Like everyone's so obsessed with like children, and someday you're gonna want children. Someday you're gonna want children. So you need to have like and first and it does not like stop your ability to like still do that at all. Like, especially if it's the only thing we're talking about is puberty blockers. That just
I would
delays it. It
love to
doesn't
put a question
reverse
out.
it or something. Like, what the fuck?
I would love to put a question out to all of the cis women watching this. You ever find yourself in a situation where you got an older family member when you're just like you're like in college or whatever and you're trying to like, get your career together. You're trying to focus on yourself. You're trying to enjoy life. And you've got some older family member that's like, "So when are you gonna give me a grandbaby?"
Oh my god.
You fucking enjoy that shit? You fucking enjoy having some elderly family member be like, "So when are you gonna turn into a baby factory for me?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this
Like,
this
isn't
whole
isn't
gendered
that like
society, like women are trained from birth to want babies. Like oh, you're a baby girl. Here, take care of a fucking baby. Like, here's your toy. Go fucking vacuum the floor with this fake vacuum. Go like play with this fake dishes and sink and fucking easy bake and stuff. Like, that
Yeah,
right there is
it
some
does use
societally gendered shit.
right, exactly, it does use
Like,
which is funny.
no,
Yeah,
Milford water makes
no
you
milk or water
yeah, well,
makes
that
you
explains it.
unfruitful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like, that's like, like, I don't know what to do with this because it's like, he's by making this argument, it is continuing to play into toxic, traditional gender conformity arguments
Yeah, it's
about,
like, well,
like,
men wear
the
pants and women
role
wear
of the trad
dresses,
life.
and
Yeah,
that's how you know the difference. But also at the same time, men wearing dresses doesn't make them women. And it's like, well, then
right.
what do you see how those two statements kind of like contradict like the way that your worldview is here? Like, you're like two or three steps away from like understanding like at that point. You know what I mean? Like, if you could just
So,
go in the other direction, you know what I mean? With that, just like follow through. Like,
this fuckboy has 1.1 million views on this cut.
yeah, a lot of hateful fucks on X. A lot
Yep.
of bots as well. So I've heard.
True. True, true,
A
true,
lot of
big true.
Nazi bots out there.
Alright, continue. We're fucking chewing into our flock camera coverage.
Graphic. These people make you realize, what are we supporting? And when in the legislature looking at the legislation and having to make a strict up or down decision on the issue, one that I never had to make. Before it was just, yeah, let people be people. What does it actually truly matter? And then you have to make the decision. And if you're making a good decision, you listen to all. And that includes these people who we've been told, don't listen to them. They're nothing more than hateful conservatives. They're nothing more than actors. They're nothing more than liars.
And can that not be
Well,
true? I'm sorry, but like, is that not a possibility in your brain at all? Is that some people are just liars and grifters and like assholes, dude? Because that is in
well,
fact the case.
you don't even necessarily have to accept that premise. You say, okay, yeah, you listen to everybody.
Yeah,
These people came
like
to you. They made
people,
their
you
pitch
can
to you.
listen and
It
still be
didn't.
like, nah.
It literally. Yeah, it literally is just. It's like they're not. They don't necessarily have to be conservative. They don't necessarily have to be grifters. They can just be wrong.
Right.
Like nobody ever did that to me. My mom thought it wasn't her business. Yeah, right. Like is I assume you mean about like pressuring you to transition. Is that am I like maybe I'm misreading the context of this chat, Eco Mama 5. But maybe I'm not
Yeah,
projecting.
further
I
context,
just
but
wanna make sure I
if the
understand what your
case
context
is,
is
we'll
so
go
that
with
I
that.
am not like misconstruing your situation. Um, but yeah. Look, like it's possible to just be wrong about something. You just like you had like a really like awful experience. Like and I want to be clear that like if there is genuinely a situation where you have like a parent that is pressuring their child to transition, like that's fucked up. Like that's incredibly fucked up. And that is a problem with the parent. The parent, like that's like
Yeah, that's a
something that you
mentally
take
unhinged
like
parent
protective
problem.
services. Yeah, exactly. That's a parent that's being abusive to their child. That's not appropriate, right? Like that individual,
But
that child is
yeah,
allowed to make the like a distinct decision about what they want in their life.
the problem is they're acting
I'm gonna
like
be on puberty blockers
the
because I
entire
don't know how to
left
feel about this
is
stuff.
that character, like caricature of
Right.
like,
Right.
like, oh, there may be like one or two cases of insane people like pressuring their kids or something. Like,
Yeah. But in this scenario that he's talking about here, it's like, okay, so you're taking an incredibly vocal, emotionally charged minority, and you're saying, well, I kind of need to force the majority to play by the rules of this really vocal and probably skewed,
to have kids. That's
um,
what the context was.
yeah, pressuring you to have kids. Okay, cool. If that never happened to you, then I'm really glad.
Right.
I'm
Lucky.
really grateful that you never had to experience that. I know
Clearly not an
multiple
Italian.
women that were like yeah, right? Multiple women that were like, "I have specific goals in my life that I want to achieve." Like, I have very specific intents for things that I want in as far as, like, my life and my outcomes. And every time I talk to my mom or every time I talk to my grandma, they're like, "Well, when are you gonna have a baby for me?" And I'm like, I
Yeah.
just my heart breaks for those women because I'm like, "You're not
Like you're talking about a human
you're
being, not
allowed
a
to make your
baby.
own choices."
Like
Right,
if they
if you wanna be a mom, if you wanna have kids, like, awesome, good for you, great. I'm, like, wicked fucking happy about that. Like, that rules. That's fantastic, and, like, you do it when you're ready, and that's awesome. Um, no, I'm not pressuring anybody to have kids, like,
yeah,
no,
have
definitely
them
not.
right now.
No. I'm not, like you people will think that when I'm talking about this, I'm, like, making an assumption that I'm, like, talking about you and your individual subjective experience, like, I'm not. Like, I'm just saying, like, there are probably many, many stories of specific women that had goals in their lives they were focusing on, that they wanted to achieve those goals, and they had family members or people around them that were pressuring them to have children before they were ready to have children. That's my point.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
that's not even like a tiny number of women. That's a lot of
No,
women
that's
that
like a
experience
huge
that, and
societal
that is a
thing in
form
the
of
US, at
institutional
least.
sexism. Yeah, exactly. That is a patriarchal pressure that's applied to women in our society. That is like a systemic problem. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's like,
we
when are
can
you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids?
right, exactly.
If that is what you truly believe after having heard the testimony of John Skinner and Claire Abernathy and Parishma and so many others, then I question your sense of reality. I could not
What's his problem
allow
with them?
myself.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
He
What is
he's
what is
he's
his
saying
problem
that
with them?
he's saying that
Parishma
if
being a
you don't
doctor, by the
completely
way?
change your he's, he's saying that, like, if you don't hear these stories and, like, and question all of this after hearing them, and then you're fucked up or something. This is basically what he's
Okay.
saying.
Don't
He
listen to
questions
them.
he questions your
They're
sense of reality, and
Oh, okay.
nothing more than
Just
hateful
I see.
conservatives. They're nothing more than actors. They're nothing more than liars. If that is what you truly believe after having heard the testimony of John Skinner and Claire Abernathy and Parishma and so many others, then I question your sense of reality. I could not allow myself hearing these brave testimonies of these people who could so easily have found themselves hidden in their shell of regret, of pain, of horror that is on their body. Instead saying, no, I'm going to go out and brave my entire soul to the world to make sure that no one else gets to the point that I'm at right now. And say to them, oh, not going to listen to you. No, I'm listening. Don't worry. I'm listening. If nobody else is, I am. And so many others truly actually are. They're just afraid to stand up because of the fervent nature of those who have continued to shut this conversation down as no more than a distraction.
So he's just being he's saying he wants to be these people's therapist, I guess.
well, he's trying to be the champion of the oppressed,
The oppressed detransitioner.
subgroup of detransitioners that
Right.
are mad at society for making them feel like they needed to be transgender.
Right. You
Which,
know, the
like,
majority of the time, like the people that detransition are not doing that willingly. Like,
there's certainly that aspect of it, but then there's just, like, the lack of, like, personal accountability for being like, "Oh, man, like,
right.
I got really swept up
None of those people were in the
because
situation, I believe, that
I
he
was
was implying
confused
either.
about who I was."
Like,
Yeah, no,
these are all
it's
on their own as adults, like decided to do this, whatever they got
right,
done.
like, you made a choice. It was the wrong choice for you, so you had to change your situation, right? And, like, if somebody else forced you into that position, then that person is wrong, right? And your ire should be directed at the person that made you feel that way because that was a really fucked up thing to do because that person was invading your autonomy as an individual. Like they were encroaching on your personal liberty to be who you are, right? And if nobody did that and you just got swept up in a trend of like what you believe is a trend, right? It's being transgender is not a trend. It's a state of being.
Yeah.
It is who people are. Um and you mistook a these people finally feeling comfortable enough to express their experience publicly, and you had some sort of, like, uh, mental mania that it caused you to feel like, "Oh, this is what I need to do in order to finally feel right in who I am," and then you did it, and it didn't bring you any satisfaction, then you detransition, then you blame all of these other people because it's like, "Well, you said this was gonna fix my problem, and it didn't fix my problem. Now you're all the problem." And it's like, "No, like, maybe you just haven't discovered who you are yet." And, like, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
not, like but it doesn't mean that the entire rest of everybody else's experiences is yours.
Right.
So don't do
Like,
that.
yeah,
Like,
that's just
you
describing
you
like
you
what
want
you
your individual autonomy to be respected, so offer the same for others. It's not really that
right.
complicated.
Does it sound
You know
distracting?
what? Yeah, I think we're done with this one right now. Unless you want to finish off the last minute.
Yeah, we gotta finish this up and do flock because this is just the only thing I wanted to say about that in particular, right? We didn't there was one part we didn't get to, and I did just like it was really important to me
Oh,
to
I
make
can
this.
get to hold
No,
on.
no, 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 you don't necessarily have to pull it back up. But, like, at one point, he says, "This is the liberal society that I wanna live." Like, this is the liberal like, this is what I want liberals to stand for. I'm sort of, like, extrapolating a little bit, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I have said so many times that being a liberal, Like, liberalism is a right-wing philosophy. It is a right-wing ideology. Liberalism makes room for this shit. Okay? There is a reason why I will go after liberals, because liberals will do this shit. Liberals will fight to, make sure that your health insurance stays in a private market. Liberals will fight for, private property rights, and they'll favor wealthy people over working class people. This is what liberalism is.
Yeah.
So, like, you wanna if anybody wants to fucking challenge me on this, I will go toe to toe with you on this issue. But miss me. Miss me with it. That's your liberal. That is a perfect demonstration of the conservative nature of somebody who genuinely believes that they are liberal. So take him at his word when he says he's a liberal. Accept that fully into your understanding so that you can create a connection that liberalism creates space for transphobia.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, and people
Let's get to our flock cameras, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Flock has a powerful new AI tool for police, and Wired got its code. Flock surveillance cameras have already sparked outrage. Wired reconstructed its next generation AI system, already in use by some police, to confirm it goes much further than tracking license plates, like everyone's been saying. All right, let's see here. Vehicle surveillance giant Flock Safety has told the public for years that its technology, quote, cannot recognize, identify, or track individuals, which total fucking lie. It has now built a system that does both: an artificial intelligence tool for police that can identify drivers and track vehicles by their patterns of movement alone, Wired has learned. Drawing on a network of cameras that logs the movements of drivers in more than 6,000 communities, the tool can pick out potential witnesses by how often their cars pass through a neighborhood, or surface a driver's associates, quote, from the cameras as they pass together. Because the system also reaches police case files, 911 dispatch logs, and commercial identity records, those plates can be turned into names, home addresses, and relatives. It can search for people in an area drawn on a map based on nothing more than physical description. The software, originally called Night Shift and more recently named OS Investigate, ships with 69 pre-written prompts that officers can select, review, or edit, and then submit to the AI. So it's basically like using ChatGPT to search for something, but it's footage from these cameras under certain conditions. Officers can, yeah, okay. The suggested prompts sit in a cache of more than 450 files that Wired found on Flock's own website, served by its login pages to anyone who loaded them. Oh, wow. The code, am I going to myself? Okay. The code describes 45 tools at the AI's disposal, giving it access to plate scans and camera metadata, arrest records, case files, dispatch logs, ballistics results, and commercial databases that contain social security numbers, dates of birth, phone numbers, email addresses, relatives, and associates. Flock says that it's testing the product with a small group of law enforcement partners and describes it as still in development with capabilities that may not reflect what it eventually sells. So all that stuff up there that's just the beginning, apparently. Just,
Yeah.
pulling
Those
everything about you and your fucking family, apparently, and your social security number.
Hold on, scroll down. So, like, I love this. Scroll down a little bit. I
Yeah.
love
Oh,
I love
their
this,
model?
hold on. So, on OS Investigates, so they have their pre-fill prompt right here.
Yep.
Find me witnesses based on vehicles most seen in neighborhood during last 14 days during time frame. Will not include whitelisted vehicles. The little bit underneath, AI can make mistakes, always verify.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that is definitely being paid very close attention to.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Yep, so these are the different
there's
sections you can do: license plate search, vehicle description search. So just this, like, like find me all the white SUVs in the area or something,
right.
potential vehicle routes, image evidence view. That's crazy. What is Nova? CAD and incident lookup, RMS similarity, arrest records, accident records, person of interest workup. So you can just like build a file on someone just by searching some of this stuff, I
Yeah.
guess.
So I've got the article over on my screen, so
Mm,
I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because there's like this is a very long article, and we'll throw the link in the description
yeah.
if folks want. We can also make sure that there's a version that has the paywall strip so you can read it, although it doesn't have these cute little um visual workups that they made. Um but so we just covered that particular workup, but it says here another prompt instructs the system to list everyone arrested more than twice for 2 years or twice in 2 years for quote any offense, exempting narcotics arrests. Then says to map where those people live, retrieve calls for service at their homes, and quote do a workup on the top three individuals. The prompt begins with everyone in the area who has an arrest record and ends with dossiers of three of them chosen by the software. A quote
So,
unquote workup in Flock's
Jesus.
terminology. Yeah, exactly. A quote unquote workup in Flock's terminology is a one command background check. It starts with a name and a date of birth and returns with the department's records and commercial data hold, vehicles, prior listings as a suspect, and an on screen, a second, and on a second screen relatives, phone numbers, and online accounts.
Wow, and the online accounts too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. 19 of the prompts described hunting for patterns rather than looking up a record. 14 call for no plate, no name, and no description. The officer simply supplies a location, a window of time, and a behavior. One group of requests asked for vehicles that visited three or more retail locations in a city in 3 days, or multiple banks in a week, or multiple gas stations between midnight and 5 a.m. None of the uh, five names a target or an incident. A tool behind these searches carries a filter that strips out buses, semi trucks, work vans, and trailers. So a delivery driver visiting five stops would come off the list, while an ordinary driver making the same rounds remains.
All right, so
So,
all criminals
shout out
need to
to
buy
all
work
Uber
vans.
drivers. Yeah, shout out to all the Uber drivers, shout out to all the Lyft
Right.
drivers, all the Door Dashers, you guys
Delivery. Yeah.
are so
That's
the same type of
craziness.
search also applies to travel between cities. Vehicles that left one city for another and returned within a week made repeat round trips over 14 days or passed through three areas in sequence. So again, shout out to all you guys that travel over state lines to buy marijuana. You are now getting clipped. Um, So, start consuming your weed at irregular intervals. I
Yeah.
guess. You know like, don't expect that you
Right.
can just make
Don't
your
don't
weekly
don't
trip
do the
down
week. Yeah, don't do it,
down over
exactly
the
the
line
same
in
time.
fucking Drake or wherever you're going. Yeah, exactly. Um And so, Vlog did not respond to a list of questions about the product and did not dispute the capabilities described in our reporting. Instead, in a statement, spokesperson Paris Lubel characterized OS Investigate, aka Night Shift. I like that. I like Night Shift a little better because I think it's
Yeah.
a little more sketchy sounding, but word.
OS
Characterized OS
Investigate. Sounds like the
Investigates
new Apple
as
fucking app for, like, I don't know, PIs.
right.
One of those, like, data
Um,
harvesting websites that you can buy anyone's info from.
Yeah, characterized OS Investigate is a separate product from Flock's license plate reader technology designed to help investigators work across information their information their agencies already have access to. He said the tool's capabilities and workflows may change significantly before a broader release. I don't love that. Um,
Right, like, so what else are they trying to get? Like, I don't that's, like, everything you could possibly, like, want to know about people and, like, how to track them, and that's already bad, so what are they gonna do? Like, roll it back a little before they release it completely or not? Like, because
yeah,
from the sounds of it, like, it's already been, like, active, like, I don't really believe that this isn't, like, already rolled out everywhere.
yeah. So now they move on to sort of talk to some other people. Quote, I think that most people imagine that the license plate readers are checking license plates and they're looking for if a vehicle is wanted, and if it's not wanted, the police will move along, says Jay Stanley, a senior policy analyst with the ACLU's Speech Privacy and Technology Project. Quote, but we're increasingly seeing the aggressive deployment of AI by Flock, and in some ways, like China, very little space between what can be done and what is being done. One example, for instance, takes a single plate and asks the system to plot the journeys of that car and its, quote, top 3 associates. The code describes explicitly how the ranking works. It counts how often other plates appear at the same cameras within a 2-minute window of the target by default, then reports any car that shows up next to it 3 or more times within a quote confidence threshold, defaulting to 0.07 or 0.75.
Like, I'm sorry, what the
The
hell is
officer
the
describes
purpose of
one
this?
vehicle and the software finds up to 20.
Like, what the hell is the
Um
purpose of this? Or do they think people are just running caravans, like, with other people, like, in a row, just cars that, like, I don't is that a thing that happens? I don't
Yeah.
understand the point of this, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you'll just find, like, the like, people that coincidentally, like, go by each other every day because they're both on the way to work at the same time? Like, and that that's you're associated with
That
that person now? Like, "Oh, that person always takes a left at that street, and that person goes right over there, so they're associated now." It's
It's
like,
not possible. You
so
just have 2 different workplaces that are near each other and you guys live in the same fucking
like,
neighborhood.
what?
Yeah. Cool. I don't know how else to say this, but this sounds completely insane, says Noel Pichardo, who was briefed on Flock's technology during a pilot program while serving as a Pawtucket, Rhode Island police officer and who reviewed the prompts for Wired. Quote, I don't know how anyone can argue against the idea that Flock literally tracks people.
Yeah, that is that was what they were advertised as doing, were they not?
Right. Pichardo spoke out against the technology before Rhode Island state lawmakers in 2024, weeks after he served the 30-day suspension for criticizing Flock and department leadership in a local newspaper. State Police Chiefs
Oh, what?
Association publicly rebuked him. Days later, investigations and discipline followed, which he believes were retaliatory, and he resigned as the department moved to fire him.
Wow, now listen, look at that. 30-day suspension versus what, like a couple weeks like of paid vacation like when, somebody gets killed.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but
Yeah.
how dare you question like our fucking, security and, AI tracking cameras? Like, you're not allowed to say that publicly. It's like, was there an NDA signed about that or something? Probably not.
I just wanna say the thing that I say all the fucking time. If you were gonna give me Chinese grade mass surveillance, give me Chinese grade mass implementation of infrastructure improvements, or go
Right.
fuck yourself.
Like, fuck,
Like,
man.
where is my high-speed rail? Where are my housing options? Where's the economic development? Where is all of that?
What's that quote
Can you
again? Those who
absolutely
would
spy on
trade
us like crazy?
what's that quote again? Those that would trade their what, fuck, no, I'm losing it. Their privacy, security deserve neither. One of those type of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd no, now you got me.
Fuck. I'm really misremembering the words of that quote. It's just like it's almost like fuck. Anyway.
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Yes, that's the one.
It was Ben Franklin
Yeah.
who said
Yeah,
that
what a
shit.
fucking lib, dude. This goddamn woke Franklin over there.
The funny part is Ben Franklin is a lib. Like,
Like, actually, though.
He's the guy who said time is money. Thank you,
Fucking
Ben
woke
Franklin, for
Franklin. God damn
creating
it.
the like giving us hustle culture before hustle culture was hustle culture.
Oath.
Um,
It was a real tape.
yeah. So, jumping ahead a little bit, before an officer runs a search, the software can ask for a justification. The code shows that by default, an officer has to type a reason for the search. However, the form appears to place no requirements on the reason or on that reason. are on what that reason says or how long it must be. If a department also requires a case number, the form checks only that it contains at least 3 characters. I'm gonna not butcher that sentence. If a department also requires a case number, the form checks only that it contains at least 3 characters.
Oh, so they can search for something with only 3 characters in it, as opposed to, like, the actual required number for it to pull up anything that makes sense?
Wired could not determine whether Flock applies additional checks on its servers after the information is submitted.
Like, Flock should not be like, this is a private company that is, like, the fucking running and storing all this stuff. Like, this isn't even, like, oh my god.
Yeah, references to the tools Flock offers, the data they can apparently reach, and the suggested prompts Flock offered or authored for police are fixed in the code Wire reviewed. What the code cannot show is how the system behaves in use. It contains no instructions given to the model itself and does not reveal what Flock servers do with a request once submitted, what they send back, or whether they refuse any command. Block has said little about this tool in public, but Garrett Langley, its chief executive, once likened it to a crime analyst who is, in his words, always awake and always watching out for you.
Yeah, that's not fucking dystopian sounding at all.
Yeah, thanks, big brother. At a demonstration for police chiefs in Denver last year, Langley described the ability to search every camera in a city for cars tailing an armored truck, pulling up the registered owners of those vehicles, and checking their arrest records in under a minute. Investigators who try it, he said, get, quote, addicted.
Oh, that's lovely. That's what we need. These people to be relying on fucking unreliable technology that gets shit wrong all the time and being very certain
Right.
about it, which has already
Yeah.
happened in many instances.
So just so we know who to target our ire at directly besides just Flock, the company Langley started in Atlanta, where his first camera was a phone in a waterproof box, now logs $20 billion plate scans a month, or 20 billion plate scans a month, excuse me. Andreessen Horowitz Founders Fund and other venture firms have poured money into the business, which was valued at 7.5 billion in its most recent funding round. The company's original tagline was the first public safety operating system that eliminates crime. And Langley recently told Vanity Fair that Flock would have solved the disappearance of the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, had its cameras been deployed where she vanished.
What, dude?
Yeah.
That's like fucking little distasteful there. That's kind of giving the vibes of like Mark Wahlberg would have, stopped the terrorist on the 9/11 plane. Had he been there, he would have beat them all up.
Right.
Like, what
Yada,
the fuck,
yada, yada.
dude?
Now we do like 1 million a day, blah, 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 blah. Andrew Guthrie Ferguson, a law professor at George Washington University, says a system like this one was inevitable. Quote, to use all the data collected, you need to build in the ability to query it, he says, to make things easier for police officers who are not going to create their own agentic tools. You must pre-program the system with some natural language prompts and automated workflows. So he's sort of explaining, well,
Right.
like,
They're
you
the
gotta do this because the cops are too stupid to figure out how to
yeah,
do
the
it
chat
more.
GPT-ifying of the technology.
I put a little bit of extra spice on that one for you guys, but, it's, it has value. Um, the choice of prompts is what strikes him. Quote, "It's not rocket science to figure out that police will want to find certain objects or patterns, but it is interesting to see what they pre-programmed," he says. There are a lot of innocent activities that could be flagged, even if it also might be quite useful for investigators. That's the main concern that we're talking about right now.
Right.
If you are just trying to, like, if you and your neighbor work in the same fucking industrial park and you guys both leave your house at the same time, like, you just like,
Well,
you may not even know your neighbor. You just happen to work near each other and you guys are just like totally like ships in the night. But you just happen to drive to work. All of a sudden there's an association created between the two of you and you guys don't ever fucking talk at all because you live in, you just you're antisocial social social media addicts. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
totally different bubbles, but Flock has now determined that you guys are fucking collaborators.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah.
this whole overarching thing is just like I want to find like crimes that I think might be happening. Like let me look into these and maybe I can find something wrong going on here instead of
Right.
like proactively like I don't know, being out there and like doing regular like police work or responding to calls when people are calling like I don't think we need this whole extra step of like, "Hey, let's
Oh,
go.
oh,
Let's
little
look for
cop,
some
is your
crime."
job too hard for you? Do you need
Yeah.
some help from Big Brother AI? You can't figure out how to do investigation? Like,
No,
come on, dude.
can't be done.
Get your shit together. Do your fucking job. Jesus. Um, because the prompt menu is a convenience rather than a constraint, an officer can also type whatever they want. Selecting a prompt drops its sentence into an ordinary chat box where it can be edited,
Oh my
rewritten, or
god.
replaced outright. Chad Marlowe, an attorney who runs the ACLU's Get the Flock Out campaign, says that this is where the danger lies. Quote, the difference between a police officer saying, "Do you see any criminal patterns?" or "Find me criminal patterns," is going
Mm.
to produce two different things, he says. And I think the fact that they don't seem to have any limitations on the prompts enables the police to almost lead the AI in what it does, and that's exactly it. How
Yeah.
you can drag
The
an
way you
LLM
word
along by
things
its nose, just
first
depending on how you make an argument. You can you
yeah,
can
you can make it
completely,
do
like,
things that it's
train your
programmed to like
LLM.
not.
Exactly.
Like you can just be
Exactly. You can you
like
can
do
you
it
can
anyway.
you can functionally jailbreak any of the fucking, like, currently mass marketed LLMs. You can like,
Like
very, very
yeah, with a
easily, you
conversation.
can get it to, like,
This doesn't even have
reduce,
those
like,
limits on it though.
safeguards. Right, right,
Like
exactly.
what?
They are not, like, there's nothing hard coded that prevents them from doing really dumb, stupid, fucked up shit. Like, it's
Like stalking
because
their
they don't know
exes.
how to. Right, yeah. We don't have enough of an understanding of humans to be able to do this, so how would we be able to do it with a fucking autonomous system like this? It's not we're like, none of the programmers that are doing this are capable of even understanding how these social interactions work well enough to be able to fucking actually engage with it.
Right.
Um, so Marlo says his worry is the officer who asks an AI which people it considers to be most likely, committing crimes. Quote, "It's going to develop not a legal standard of criminal suspicion, but whatever that AI standard is."
Yeah, and AI, I don't know if anyone's been keeping up with that, but it's been known to be biased based on like who's building it, who's putting in like what kind of information it's drawing from, and the person that's like
Right.
talking to it. They'll adjust to like whatever sort of views that they have. We've seen that like with the AI psychosis, people having such like sycophantic relationships with like their AI because it like
Right.
it feeds off of whatever you tell it to, and it'll just like do whatever to keep you like whatever it thinks is gonna make you happy.
And this feeds right into the next leg of the article. The code already describes the filters that question would run through. Flock software chains vehicle searches to queries against police records that sort people by sex, race, ethnicity, height, build, weight, scars, marks, and tattoos. One prompt searches by description alone, asking for records matching, quote, "male 6 feet, black hoodie, forearm tattoo near a location." The tool allows an officer to bound those criteria by selecting a radius or drawing arbitrary shapes on a map. Stanley says that this closely resembles what the U.S. Supreme Court took up in June when it held that people carry a privacy interest in records of where they have been, and that the Fourth Amendment applies when police demand those records from a company. Here, police departments buy that capability outright, opening space for fishing expeditions on a scale he says has no precedent.
So did the Supreme Court rule against that there? Is that what I'm hearing? Or like
What they're trying to say is that this is a way to work around the Fourth Amendment.
uh-huh.
That's my understanding of the way this is written.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that argument holds much water when like the outcome is the same. That's like That's like the same thing as what they were doing before the AI cameras and stuff, and just buying information from data collectors like outright on people if they wanted to, because technically they didn't gather that information. Somebody else did. They're just buying it from them.
Right. I mean, it's like it's trying to make the argument more semantic to obfuscate the actual underlying truth.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Tim Pool's whole like the Jubilee
Oh my
thing.
God.
He's like, yeah, no, he's saying he's like, well, the left commits more political violence than the right, and then
It's like, well, you
he
got to define it. You
goes
know, you got to
into
break.
some yeah, well, then he's like, well, I'm talking about the mainstream left is more violent than the mainstream right. The far right is
Right.
incredibly violent, but the
Yeah,
mainstream
yeah,
right is
yeah.
actually violent, but the mainstream left is wildly violent. It's like,
Like, dude, the
no,
mainstream right
you
is
said far
cheering.
left, dumb fuck. Like
The mainstream right is cheering on like the fucking like violence and white supremacists, dude. Like,
yeah.
and
It's
what
like
the
no,
fuck is
like
the far
your
left? Like,
original
we want
prompt
healthcare.
is yeah. Your original prompt means like the way you phrased your original prompt means that you are not allowed to make this semantic argument. You already fucked yourself out of making
Yeah, he was
your
immediately
fine
just like
defense against the claim that you made.
like, oh
So
well, it
you
depends on the criteria that you know
your
I
dumbass.
you don't really it all depends on what you call this or that, and it's like, okay, well, why are you getting like okay, yeah.
What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? So, yeah, at any rate, you got a literal geofence, but the AI can also bring it way beyond that kind of static boundary and who is inside that boundary, as Stanley said. Um, who was near this person for more than 10 minutes in the past month? Who was in these 6 locations more than 3 times? It can be much more fine-grained, sophisticated, flexible. Um, so, Flock has been building the AI system while under scrutiny for how police have abused the cameras it already runs. Texas officers searched more than 83,000 cameras across the country last year while looking for a woman who had a self-administered abortion. According to search logs first obtained by 404 Media. A recent Washington Post analysis found 50 officers charged with or accused of misusing plate reader systems, 26 of them to track wives, girlfriends, exes, and women they wanted to meet. Illinois regulators found last August that Flock had violated state law by running a now paused pilot program that handed Customs and Border Patrol access to cameras in the state.
Yeah, and I got like
That
a
moment when it all loops back around.
pretty good example here as well of
Hook it up.
how these systems can be
people.
I was extremely confused. I kept telling them they had the wrong person.
So this is when they don't work out exactly how they think they're gonna.
Therapy.
What's next for you? How do you move forward?
Therapy. Lots of therapy.
A woman was placed in jail for 13 days and initially charged with 8 felonies after a flock camera flagged her Durango as the hit-and-run vehicle that killed 3 people.
I was extremely confused. I kept telling them they had the wrong person, the wrong vehicle. I said, read my EDR, fingerprint me, do anything you need to do. I was not involved in this crash.
The officers had enough information at the time to conclude she wasn't involved, yet she still was placed under arrest 6 months after the incident and after she sued the department for holding her car. Her car had 0 damage done to it and was the wrong color. That would be the reason that she eventually would be released.
I feel there's really no way of fixing what they did to me. It will always hurt me. My reputation was ruined. I'm still receiving death threats.
Flock cameras are coming under so much scrutiny that it's caused the CEO to come out and apologize.
No, it's horrible, and I apologize. Hindsight is a brutal tool. Of course, we could have done more earlier, and we listen and we learn, and we'll continue to move forward. I think I'm like many people that grew up in a safe neighborhood and assumed that our law enforcement friends were perfect.
Over 50 cities have cut ties with flock
Jesus
cameras. After
Christ.
repeated mistaken identity issues and
Okay, white
stalking
boy.
incidents, it might be
Like,
time for a nationwide ban.
What's next for you? How do you move?
yeah, unacceptable.
Jesus fucking Christ. So,
Completely.
anyways,
Yeah.
um, we can finish this article as we don't actually have much left. Usually we don't go all the way through these, but this one I feel like is really
Yeah,
important.
no, really
And
is.
the reason I feel like it's important is specifically because right now we actually don't have that many flock cameras in New Hampshire. And the whole point is that once they're here, it's going to be a whole lot more of a bitch to get them out.
Yeah.
So like having this information now is going to make it a lot easier for anybody to actually be able to like point to something to say, don't let this fucking bullshit happen.
Yeah, and also just keep in mind that any of these AI camera tracking websites, those are all based on self-reporting, so they can be like not that type of camera. Like a lot of them are
Right.
misreported. So
Right,
just keep
exactly.
that in mind when you're
That is
searching that
precisely
stuff.
what happened in Peterborough. Everybody thought that they were flock cameras sitting up there, and then it took, like, weeks for everybody to figure out that they weren't actually flock cameras. So, it is sort of important to know the difference, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying that you don't hold people responsible for that, but you do have to hold them responsible so that they have to say on the record, "Yeah, we're not like, none of this is being uploaded, none of this is being stored, blah, 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 blah." Like, you have to make sure that that stuff is stated openly and clearly for the public. Um, so moving on.
Mm.
Um, see here.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
think
already
we
got through that.
went through that part. Flock leaves most of the rules to its customers. Agency leaders decide who gets credentials, whether to share the camera data across city and state lines, and whether to switch on the settings the company offers to deter abuse. The audit tool that scans an agency, yeah, right. The audit tool that scans an agency's own searches for suspicious patterns arrived in April 26 as an option departments can enable. Many departments did little to monitor the searches themselves, the Post found. The
So it can
Electronic
keep
Frontier
track of
Foundation.
problematic like searches
Right.
if somebody's just like looking up the same person over and over. But that's optional.
Right, yeah, they're like, "No, we're not gonna bother with that, fuck that."
Like, now
This
we'll
is
leave that off. Go
right,
ahead and leave that
right.
option turned
Who
off.
needs that? Who needs that shit? Um, the EFF reviewed data sets pertaining to more than 12 million searches logged over 10 months and found that roughly 20% gave only a vague term like investigation, suspect, or query. More than 50 agencies ran hundreds of searches whose reason fields referenced protest activity. Yeah. Remember what I was saying earlier about the young people that are a little bit wary about going out to protests? That's fucking why. Um, Flock says its newest safeguards will address some of that. The company announced last week that by the end of the year, it will monitor for abnormal searches, lock out flagged users automatically, and require officers to attach case codes to their searches. Yeah, that seems like a fucking eighth measure, dude. That's like not even a half
Yeah.
measure. That's gonna do fucking nothing. Okay, bud. Um, at the same time, the company is also hiring engineers to quote drive the architectural evolution of its new system, wired into Flock's larger data platform, and build a network it says will act on behalf of investigators, according to two recent job postings. The role covers multi-step AI workflows and new capabilities, including automated lead generation. Say that again. Auto- Automated lead generation
Yeah,
and
so like
cross-camera correlation.
like
Use is well beyond the version of the software Wired examined.
yeah, so they're gonna be like, "Hey, this may be a potential crime. Go check this out." And everything's gonna so
Right.
they want just automated dispatch so that they can go out and check things like it's a fucking GTA mission or something. Like, go to this area,
Right.
find this criminal. Like, they are here.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, GTA mission, you know what it reminds me of the most is the assassin missions that you do in GTA Vice City, like the original Vice City, like where
Yeah.
you show up like all of the missions start at a phone booth, right? Or like a
Right.
like a payphone, and you walk up to the payphone, you pick it up, and it's just like, "Go here, kill these people." You're like, "Okay, I guess." Uh, that's what it reminds me of. Um, it is clear Flock has aspirations far beyond ALPRs to become a digital platform for policing, Ferguson says. Quote, "We are on the cusp of the age of agentic policing, and the ability to create natural language chatbots to search within massive data sets will soon become the norm."
Okay, so this is a Flock is a private company, and they're just integrating into the entire system of policing. What prevents them from selling all their information, their camera systems to, say, like, China or something like that? Like, people are fear-mongering over, like, like, what
Nothing. I'm
like,
less
is
concerned about China and more concerned about Israel, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Like, that'll be a way to track dissidents for sure. What if they sell their camera feeds and AI searches to fucking Saudi Arabia so they can track down their dissidents over here?
Yeah.
That's already
Yeah.
happened. The
There's
fucking Jamal Khashoggi got fucking chopped up into pieces while the fucking Mohammed bin Salman was here.
Correct.
Fucking Joe Biden
Yeah,
didn't say
and,
shit
like,
about that.
I just, like, I there are plenty of other global actors that I would be a lot more concerned with
I'm
than
just saying,
in
like,
this instance, but I do understand
in
your
the
point.
sense of,
Like,
like, what other people might be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? Like, China's the big bad right now, according to a lot of people.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
to put it in terms that they might understand. Like,
yeah, fair
ooh,
enough, fair enough.
fucking China's coming. Like, what they're gonna get your information. Like, that's the thing I've heard too about, like, social media sites that people say, like, oh, they're getting all your data and they're gonna give it to China. And I'm like, what the fuck's China gonna do with my, like, fucking
Yeah,
shit? Sell
that's
Try to
kinda
sell me some stuff on Temu? I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm
yeah,
more concerned
it's
about, like,
honestly
the
too
government and, like, what's going on here than fucking getting sold to advertisers in fucking China. Because, like, this is a lot more,
the funny part
pertinent.
is China is so fucking trade max that, like, that's exactly what
Like,
they would do with that information. They're like, "Sweet, we can sell you more goods."
yeah, literally, like, what?
They're not gonna try and fucking invade you, dude.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not
gonna
gonna come
take
here
you.
and
They're not gonna do
fucking,
anything. They don't
like,
give a shit. They just want your
black
money,
bag me,
dog.
dude. Like, they're just like, yeah, put the fucking money in the bag. That's all they want. They just want to sell us some cheap shit.
I'm genuinely less afraid of China than I am of fucking Peter Thiel. Like, dead ass. Like, I you
Yeah.
know, anyways, guys, we went way over tonight, and ain't no way we are gonna be able to get to the polling results. Just not
Yeah.
not in any real capacity. Um, it just won't happen, but I will sort of give, like, I'm gonna try and do, like, a fucking flyby on this shit, right? Um, so, Kyle, do you have the link? Do you need the link?
Yeah, I do.
I can get it over to you if you need it.
Yeah, send that
It's a
over real quick.
PDF.
Oh, is it the other chat? Hold on.
It's in the I just sent it in the show chat.
There we go.
Call chat. You're gonna have to download the PDF. But we're just gonna scroll the nice pretty circles.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it like that.
Come on. Give me 1 sec here.
Let's start on page 13.
Oops, sorry, 1 sec there.
Oh, it's gonna be doing a whole thing. Oh, I got doxxed.
What?
It's okay, I don't really care.
Did I have something else up over there?
No, my Discord was up. It's fine. I don't give a shit.
There we go.
You suddenly
Alright,
get a
there
bunch
we
of
go.
fucking angry DMs. Wouldn't be any different than any other day, honestly.
You'd have to accept the friend request. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, we're just gonna do this flyby here. So you've got Mansour at 28, Pappas at 59, 13% unsure. This does not bode well for Karishma Mansour. But again, I have said previously that I am incredibly sus when it comes to polling. So we'll see how it goes, right? You know, like I don't really trust the pollsters anymore.
Yeah, it's
This
as of late, it's been shown to
this
be pretty off in some
pretty
cases.
pretty bunk. Yeah. So and then we scroll down a little bit, look at the Republicans for Senate. Sununu's at 54%.
Oh
You got
god.
Scott Pruitt at 24%, 23% unsure. Um, Even if Scott Brown were to consume all of the unsure vote, he'd still be losing to Sununu. He's not going to pull anybody from there, so that's basically a foregone conclusion. But I think we all
Yeah.
already knew that anyways.
Republicans just
Hilarious
love
because
their fucking dynasties.
him posing with a fucking pedophile didn't do a damn thing to change the Republican opinion. Shocker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
who would
know,
have guessed? Look at the president right now.
exactly. Exactly. All right, let's keep rolling. Because I ain't got time for this shit. Okay, so it's CD1, everybody's fucking big hot topic. All right, Sullivan 26, Shaheen 24. So Sullivan is now the leader. We're just basically kicking back and forth between Shaheen and Sullivan. I pretty much guarantee you that one of the two of them is going to win. I've been kind of saying that for months now, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it. Um, Barrion jumped up to 12%. Howard's down 2 points to 7, probably related to all of this controversy. Not entirely surprising because that particular base has been pretty codified into its little bubble. So there's really a lot of people. What I think is fucking absolutely hilarious about this is despite all of the endorsements, all of the pressure, all of the fucking social media posts from New Hampshire Youth Movement and whatever, Christian Rudia has still not been able to break 3%.
Yeah.
Sarah Szynski literally lost polling points. She is now at less than 1%. That's fucking ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
What are you doing? Um, so yeah, I mean, like statistically at this point, yeah, I mean, he kinda ate it. You know what I mean? Like, the analysis that I had provided previously on the last poll is like, that was valid for the moment that it existed, but that was before all of the bullshit happened, which changed the math. I am
Yeah.
not going to weigh in on why I think any of that happened. That's for the autopsy after the 8th, and we will have that conversation when we have that conversation, but right now, we're not really getting into that. Um do I think it would be beneficial if there was consolidation on the progressive side? I don't know, maybe, but, like, honestly, like, you went from, like, 47% unsure to 27% unsure, and look how much it changed. Basically fucking nothing,
Yeah.
right? Dude, you lost 20% of the unsure vote, and Christian Arudia, who's got all that money and all that support, didn't gain a single fucking percentage point. Dude, just drop out. What are you doing? Stop it. This is fucking stupid.
I mean,
This
he
is
has
ridiculous.
he has the money to do it. That's why drop out,
Yeah,
you know?
I know, but they're that's the thing is that they're spoiling themselves, right? Like, if you were let's say Heath and Christian dropped out, that'd give another 10% over to Barriant. Barriant would be at 22. She'd actually be sorta competitive with Shaheen and Sullivan, so that might actually make sense. I'm pretty sus on Carly Barriant, though, at this point, because, like, I had said previously, I was like, "She's my number 2 under Heath," and right now, I would totally be going for it if I hadn't seen content that came out where she basically says that she's conditionally okay with sending defensive weapons to Israel,
Ugh.
which is that's
There's no
that's no.
such
That
no
that
such thing,
dead in
dude.
the fucking water. I respect that she
Like,
gave back
contractors don't make
money
that
that she would
distinction.
right. So, Carly had received money from J Street. She returned that money, which was a good move, but again, it doesn't change the fact that the position remains that she said, "I'm not one of those people that believes Israel shouldn't exist." My issue with that is that,
Like,
the
that's kind of
saying
framing
Israel doesn't
everyone
exist
else as that having that position, which is not the case.
not even just that, it's like it demonstrates to me a fundamental misunderstanding of what the statement, "Israel doesn't have a right to exist," is, which means that no state has a right to exist.
Yeah.
Right? There is no such thing. I've said it on this program
Right.
before. I will reiterate this fucking point. I'm trying to speed run this shit right now because it's way too fucking late. But the point was that no nation has a right to exist. If nations had a right to exist, every single person would be arguing that the Soviet Union should still exist. The Ottoman Empire should have never collapsed.
Right.
Czechoslovakia never should have split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia, right? This is all preposterous shit, right? Like you don't get to say nations have a right to exist. Otherwise, if nations themselves had a right to exist, then nations would not disappear or change or have their borders shift or anything like that, right? It's a preposterous argument.
Yeah.
And then furthermore, 47% of the Jewish population, when polled, in a poll that was published by Haaretz, basically said that eh, they believe that when to like take an enemy city, that all the inhabitants should be killed. So that applies to Gaza. That applies to the West Bank. 47 fucking percent of the Israeli population. So when people say, "Oh, well, we just need to change the leadership," like we really need to
Yeah,
like
this isn't just a
rein in
Netanyahu problem.
the right, yeah, exactly. And Netanyahu's a bad guy, Ben Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, the bad guys. We just need to get him out. We need to get him out. We need to get him out. As if the Israeli people would not just put somebody just as bad, if not worse, in that position. Somebody that would extend and take the genocide even further. So
Yeah.
this is not a government. This is not an Israeli government problem. This
It's
is
like an
an
entire
Israeli
societal.
populist problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm not saying that it's a Jewish problem. It's not a Jewish problem
No,
because there's
it's
a
an
lot of Jews
Israeli
in the
problem.
world that do not agree with this. It is a specifically Israeli nationalist problem, right? Now, my argument is that if you genuinely want to deal with this, then you deny them any aid for weapons. You
Right.
deny them any aid at all, and you force them to have to figure out how to survive in that region on their own, a choice they demanded. They were offered other locations to set up their ethno-state, and they denied all of them. They said, "No, it has to be that slice of land.
Yeah.
Absolutely has to be that slice of land." IDF, it's just 3 terrorist groups in a trench coat, and I'm not even fucking kidding. It's the
Yeah.
Haganah, the Irgun, and the Lehi. That's the lineage, right? It originally was just the Haganah. The Irgun split from the Haganah because the Haganah was not radical and, murderous enough, and then the Lehi split from the Irgun because the Irgun was not radical or genocidal enough for the Lehi members. And when Israel became a nation, those 3 terrorist groups basically reunified, and that's what the IDF is now. So, like, that's, like, real history shit. That I'm not making this up. You guys can go look this up. This is real. I'm not pulling your fucking leg. Okay? You wanna learn more about this? Go read Avi Shlaim, go read Ilan Pappé. I'm like, go learn about this from genuine Jewish historians, okay? These are Jewish academics and historians that will tell you this. So, like, for anybody that says that I'm being anti-Semitic, why don't you go tell those literal Israeli
Yeah.
Jews that they are anti-Semitic? Go ahead and do that for me. See how that
Well,
argument works.
yeah, and that
Um,
were some of those people too involved in that whole like going back to look at like the revisionist history like that historians there had done and like going through like the actual history like that whole movement was that I'm not wording
they're
this
not,
very well.
I mean, and they're not revisionist. They're just telling you the actual
No,
history,
no,
but
I
there
mean
is no
like how
revisionism.
like there was like academics there that were revisionist, but they like there's like a movement of people that wanted to go back and look at the actual history of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what, Pape and Shlaim do, is
yeah,
they genuinely examine it from, like a genuine, like, anti-genocidal, like, pro-human rights perspective. Like,
yeah,
they come at it from a different angle, and when they do their analysis, it's what it is. So, at any rate, that's why I can't just, like, outright be like, "Yeah, go bury on." Because from my analysis to make that concession that, like, under certain conditions, depending on what the legislation looks like, it would be okay to send defensive weapons like Iron Dome missiles or THAAD missile batteries, right, to Israel so that they can continue to have this safety net around them, which allows them to feel emboldened to continue to engage in
right,
militaristic conflict and imperialist expansion in their region, right? You take those things away, all of a sudden they actually have to deal with the fact that they've been utter fuckbags this whole time, and have been just like murdering people left and right throughout the region, and they then genuinely have to like live with the consequences of their actions. That's just like, dude, you made a bed, you need to lie in it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not necessarily saying that I want Israel to, like, be bombed into oblivion, right? I'm like, there are plenty of anti-Zionist Israelis that live in Israel, so I don't want anything to happen to those people. But, like, this is the situation that was created. So, like, I'm sorry. Like, there's no perfect solution to this situation. It's just sink or swim time for that country. And,
Yeah.
like, they
Well,
like
they've
like,
they've been
we are spending
emboldened,
so much
starting
money,
with
we don't have fucking healthcare. Like, what the fuck? Israel at least
yeah.
has universal healthcare. We don't fucking have that, so give me a break.
They were
Like,
emboldened
you
when Joe
make that
Biden
decision because you're
decided
trying to
not
win an election, fuck off. Yeah.
back when Joe Biden decided not to make that call. Like apparently they were waiting to get told to like, all right, back off now. Like that, and that call never came for
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we'll keep rolling here. Just sorry, I know I kinda went into an we're way over tonight. Yikes. Um, yeah, 44% unsure, DiLorenzo at 30, Novoletsky at 17, Anderson 0, Bailey 1%,
Oh,
Cole what's
oh
Cole's
Jesus.
percentage?
Oh no. Was that did I just go down? Yeah. There we go.
Cole's at 8. Okay, yeah.
8%.
So, I mean, like, this is DiLorenzo's probably gonna win that. I don't know. We'll see. They can't figure this shit out. It's fine. I don't really care. I have a feeling whoever the Democrat wins in that is gonna be the one that wins CD1 this time around just because it's off your election while Trump's in office,
Yeah.
and he's just gonna get clobbered for it, so it's fine.
Anyone
It's
endorsed by Trump as well is probably gonna lose. Just gotta say
Yeah, exactly.
at this point.
In at least in New Hampshire. Um Goodlander 66, Boschman 17, 17% unsure. That's really sad. I would love to see the entirety of that unsure go into Boschman so that she can actually pull better numbers. But this basically just comes down to the fact that CD2 is fucking geographically massive in comparison to CD1, and Page does not have anywhere near enough money to be getting the kind of signage out to compete in like portions of the North Country. And that's not a dig at her, right? Like that, like I want to be clear. I'm not saying that to shit on Paige. Like
Yeah.
I think it should be have a much higher contention. But it's really fucking hard, dude. It's really fucking hard to deal with the fact that you're like a working mom and nurse and tried to make this decision to run for office and you don't have anywhere near the kind of millions of dollars and like fucking, like, institutional family money and, like, we
Yeah,
own Red Sox money that Maggie Goodlander has. So, that's just that sucks. Um, but it doesn't mean that I will stop standing on principle that Paige Boschman should be the person that you vote for, and I tell people all the time that
for
they should have
sure.
to look at her campaign because she offers an alternative. People that literally have Maggie Goodlander signs out of their house will talk about how annoyed they are with Maggie Goodlander. That's where we're fucking out with that. So, fun times. Yeah, that's
If
Goofy Lily Tong Williams is going to get that, and then she's not going to win because she never wins. Like,
yeah.
that's not gonna happen. That's a joke, we can move on. She was literally on team Tim Pool. Who fucking cares? Tim Pool is
Yeah.
a human being. We don't care anymore.
Oh man.
This is brutal. Warmington at 38 to Ayots 49 with 13% unsure.
Ugh.
Now if that 13% did consolidate into Warmington, that would mean a win, except I don't know that that's gonna happen. Because there's a lot of people that really are just like they've bought a lot of the anti-Warmington, sentiment and, like and she hasn't done enough to resolve that issue. It's unfortunate, because it would really be super fucking nice to not have to deal with Kelly Ayotte anymore. Really
Right.
would. Um, but
Well,
even then,
a
even
lot of
that
times the incumbent always gets voted for governor here as well.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, like, with that 13 into the 38, you're talking about a 51-49. That's like a 1 point, like 2 point margin of difference. Like, that's
Yeah.
too fucking close for comfort, dude. With Ayotte's approval rating as low as it is, this should fucking
Yeah,
tell the Democrats something, right? You should not be running a candidate that has that much baggage. You shouldn't be doing it. And I wish that Kuiper had stayed in the race, honestly. I really do.
for
Uh
sure.
And I honestly, like, I'm pretty sure that's you know, we can Senate Pappas versus Brown. I guess we can look at that.
Oh my God.
No shocker there. What's the saying for Pappas versus Sununu? That's what I really care about. Yeah, not surprising. Yeah, Pappas takes the seat.
Yep.
I don't really care to look at like, yeah, I guess we can look at Congressional General CD2, but like it's not gonna show us
Yeah.
one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care
President.
about this.
Yeah.
Buttigieg, I don't care. Get this McKinsey fuck out of here. I don't know what's wrong with New Hampshire voters. Anyways, that's it, dude. I gotta fucking go to bed.
Yeah.
This was we literally went like 45 minutes to an hour over tonight. Jesus Christ. Fuck my life.
Well,
Covered a lot though.
yeah. I'm eventually gonna do another show, guys. I swear to God. I swear it's coming.
We will get there. We
any day
assure
now.
you. So
Yes,
anywho,
indeed.
yeah, I had to say my 2 cents on way too many things tonight.
Well, yeah, a
So you guys
lot
are
of
cool.
important shit.
You guys are cool, fam. We appreciate you for showing up.
Hell yeah.
I was a little quieter this evening. We didn't have a raging debate about ongoing controversies, which is kind of a nice that part was kinda nice. But you guys are it's okay if you chat more. We appreciate you guys.
All right. Appreciate the late
Thank
night.
you guys.
Yes, indeed.
We appreciate you as well. It's good stuff. Yeah. Sorry, dude. I just like I feel like a lot of people ask me about Jonah Wheeler. Like it comes up a lot because everybody's like, "What the fuck is wrong with that?" And I'm like, all right, at some point we're just gonna have to haul off and go into it, dude. And I guess tonight was that night. So
yeah, that kind of presented the perfect opportunity there with that stupid ass video, trying to be all self-serious and intellectual about the dumbest shit you could possibly imagine.
yeah. I mean, dude, if you're gonna give me lemons, I'm gonna make lemonade. I'm sorry. So happens.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to click all those fucking links in the description. Follow if you have not. Go watch Locally Sourced. Go check out that the older video so you can hear what Jonah used to sound like.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of interesting history on that channel because like generally speaking, I'm pretty sure I don't I really try to make sure that I never take anything down. So everything's all up there. If you want to go back, you want to see what fucking politics was like back in like 2020, 2019 in New Hampshire. It's a good place to look. Go check it out. It's interesting.
Hell yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Love you.